getting passed by multiple cars, as I mentioned earlier on. So Newhoff in a very precarious situation, but he often finds himself in these places. He doesn't qualify as well as he races.
Up front, they are getting with Lee Aberdeen and Luca Varani not very far apart at all here. But I just want to see how Alistair Haig deals with Marcello Kessler coming around the old hairpin.
I would say it's not the best decision they've ever made, just not having done that under the safety car, really.
Yeah, they're taking their pit stop strategies from Ferrari lately or something. What's going on?
In turn one, just too much gas on them, too much feet on the loud pedal, and unfortunately he's dropped him all the way down the order. But Philip Hammer is out in front by an 8.91 seconds. Dan Michael is a wall there, sir. And it definitely doesn't want to be hitting that earlier on as well.
Difficult, the understeer is in the dirty air through that final corner because it's such a long corner and you get dragged off into the grass very easily. He'll have the slipstream down it towards the chicane. Peterson was briefly alongside, but that slipstream has saved him and kept him in third.
Yeah, Varani now lost a little bit of time to Aberdeen, about half a second. Peterson is Pike's pushed Morton forward up ahead. He's got out of line. It's now Pike going to have a go at Werrell. Don't push him off. He's in the championship fight. Jack Werrell chasing down Carl Jacklin. Further down, Rob Williams and Chris Barnes.
Sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still start trouble. He's left on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Moving on to the back end of Phil Jocelyn. So there's been a lot of movers and shakers in this first 2 laps here for race.
Absolutely serious racing league. Everybody's a lot to have fun. Yeah, and it's all about the entertainment. So I hope everybody is enjoying themselves out there in the chat. We know that Ron is been enjoying himself watching. The Burger King machine's off into the grass a little bit there. Is that really bunching up now?
Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, they're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such up. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into the FTR Events Round 2, live from Circuit de Ledenon. I am James Parfitt, going to be joined in the booth by one Mr. Edward Hunter here this evening. You see the cars are lined up on the grid, ready to go, and we can bring you up the grid. Here as well. Let's have a look at the grid from these guys once again, and we'll be able to bring it up all the information to you here this evening. The grid is in this situation now. I can tell you in the Mustangs, it's Sven Demmel out in front with Mikey Friesen in second, Kevin Parrish in third, Miguel Torres in fourth, George Gruber will be in fifth, and Rob Wolf will be in sixth. We are going up and running, and we are green here. Very flyy pace lap as these guys are flying away, and it's the Mustang of Rob Wolf out in front with Emerson Gowden in second place, and then we've got the Mustangs kicking on, then the MX-5s, and then also Giovanni Romano is there as well. So great job from all of these with Wolf, Gowden, Demmel, Parrish, Torres, and Mickey Friesen, your top 5 in the Mustangs. It's Bramley, Shepherd and Pearson, your top 6 in the MX-5s. GR860 Sharp, Chevalier and Rosado, Romano, Zanoni and Giovanni Romano. So yeah, great action so far. Let's bring Ed into the booth. Ed, welcome in, buddy. How are you?
Oh, good, thanks. Yeah, exciting start, especially with the Mustangs going side by side. Unfortunately, I'm having to look at YouTube, so I'm going to be slightly behind at the moment. So hopefully we can sort that out in a few moments. Yeah, great start by Emerson Gowden. And look at the MX-5s, Tiemen J. Bramley starting to pull a small gap over Nicholas Shepherd. Remember, Tiemen got disconnected at the last round at VIR while leading. So he'll be hoping after this heat when we get to the final. Oh, as I was just seeing, as I've been talking, there's been a spin.
Yeah, Chase Brown, by the looks of it, has been off the side of the circuit, unfortunately for him. And Chase Brown has had an incident here, unfortunately, as we go off down the start, finish straight once again. The circuit itself is Ledenon, 1.958 miles, 3.15 kilometers. Lots of lefts, lots of rights, and if you flip the track map down, you can almost see Interlagos. The CNRS is kicking off around the start finish straight. Absolutely interesting circuit on for Heat 1 on lap 2, and it's getting very spicy up in this middle section here again. Very interesting from all of these guys, and I think overall the racing could be quite epic up here in the Mustangs. And then in the MX-5s also. Just having a little trouble with feeds currently. So give us 2 seconds as Miguel Torres is a 5th in the Mustangs. That is the MX-5s on your screen at the moment. And there's some interesting battles going on all the way through the circuit. Again, another high field turnout. Ed, we've got 41 cars on the circuit.
Yeah, oh, sorry. Wasn't ready for that. Yeah, 41 cars, great turnout, especially after VIR. And yeah, it's good. Let's just hope we don't, because it looked very, very chaotic on that first lap from what I was seeing. Especially the Clios were really struggling with the final corner there, which of course is a curvette. And so we're seeing a couple of people struggling on the entry because it's a little bit to the right, and then that sort of hairpin with the, I think there's a little barrier or something right on the inside, and that was really catching quite a lot of them out. So hopefully by the end of this heat, all these drivers will have fully got the hang of this circuit, because it looks like lots of little challenges. You said it reminded you of Interlagos. Reminds me a little bit more of Estoril, actually, in some of its format. As I see in the background, somebody spinning at the top of the hill. That must be at Servi, the little hairpin at the very top of the track.
Yeah, and say
Here's one of the Jettas.
The action has been fast and furious here. So these guys will be settling in with about 11.5 minutes to go. And you've got the Jettas on your screen, who's having a nice little battle with Morgan Berghardt in the Renault Clio. He's doing a great job here. And sorry, Berghardt in the Jetta with the Renault Clio behind him. Berghardt is quick, and if it's the Morgan of old that I'm aware of, he's probably got his steering wheel strapped to a desk, and he is running on that side of things there, Ed. Yeah, very interesting setup does Morgan have here this evening.
Yeah, of course. Sim races come in all shapes and sizes in terms of their setups, and it's whatever works best for you, and also to your budget, of course. Not all sim races are made of money, as you know, James. But yeah, Miguel Torres, great to see him.
I'm not a sim racer, buddy, so yeah, whatever. You know, I sit up here more times than I'm in.
I never accused you of being a sim racer, but you're a commentator, so we know a lot about it, is the point I'm making.
That's the thing, isn't it? That was Ryan Chevalier in the GR86, sitting in second place, chasing down Sharp. So Ryan doing a great job there. So great action throughout this race so far, as we're going on board with Nicholas Shepherd in the MX-5 here. So Nick Shepherd, part and parcel of the racing, absolutely epic racing, and it's always going to bring that in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, we saw in VAR how chaotic it was in the heat there, where so many collisions of everyone really, really fired up to try and gain places for the grid for the final. And Nicholas Shepherd here, the American's got a great view of Tiemen J. Bramley ahead of him, the Australian, of course, who was, as we said, was leading MX-5 for so much of the final, and then got, I believe, disconnected about halfway through the race, which was a big, big shame for Tiemen. As we see Martin Pearson, as just behind this, is overtaking Christopher Rowe for third place, actually. So that's a good move there by the New Zealander.
Yeah, Shepherd on his run round through Camion and then into Cavalier. And there is Martin Pearson in 6th place in the MX-5s. Martin, a bit of a rough one in VIR for Martin, I think we can safely say. But he's done a great job. Eric Manivel down in the Jettas is he's currently sitting in 6th overall. So Eric going to try and fight his way through the field as much as he can, mixing it up with the MX-5s. There's a lot of action so far on the race circuit. And we kind of expected that within the first heat.
Yeah, loads of position changes in all the classes. I was just looking at GR86 with Andrew Sharp holding off Chevalier, as we've got Mantiveld trying to keep that MX-5 behind him, but it looks very, very racy. What is it? It's the 411 as he tries to dive up the inside at the final corner. There we go. Eric Mantiveld has to go wide and give plenty of space here as he slots back in with the rest of the VW Jettas.
Yeah, he's going to have to slot in and hope for the best here. Hopefully it will work out kindly for him. Chevalier is in second place, is Mr. Chevalier in the Toyota GR86s. So Chevalier doing a great job there, chasing down. He has got in front of him, it's Mr. Sharp in front of him, and then behind that is Rock in the Renault Clio. So let's see how these guys get on with Patrick Dupont. As well, is also sitting in a Jetta. Seems like a Jetta. Oh, no! That was one of the, I think that was Sam Van Olst in the Team Goldwing car. May have got himself in the mix with Richard Rosado in the GR86, unfortunately. But
I think it
Chaos
might
was,
have been Mantinveld involved as well, because he's lost a bunch of places, James.
Yeah.
As that rejoin was a bit unsafe, as there's Sam Vanalist in the middle of this pack with the spun car right behind him now.
action, as Sam Van Olst there. He has got Carl Ridley. Oh, they've had it coming together. A GR86. That was a 3-1-3 machine trying to go through. Not easy when you're going already 2 wide. Not easy taking it 3 wide.
And that's Patrick Depart going for the lead, James, against Jack Johns and Morgan Burkhardt there.
Yeah, as he's sort of fighting it out. So some Depart. Is he going to be able to make it through as they're coming over the start-finish line? Depart in that green machine. And he's got an MX-5 in front of him. That's called for in front with Jack Johns in the VW Jetta. And then behind that is Carl Ridley. So these VW Jettas having a little bit of a shindig currently. And Gowdin is still out in front for the Mustangs at the moment.
Yep, pulling a little bit of a gap to Ron Wolf behind him. As we also see Tim and Jay Bramley's, I think, keeping Nicholas Shepard pretty at arm's length in the Mazdas too. But Dopart, with all that chaos, because the Jettas, when they get lapped, being one of the slower cars in the field, it always seems to bunch them all together, doesn't it? So they're so desperate to gain positions as well in this heat. You might see a couple of desperate dives. Dopart really trying to size up Jack Johns in that battle for second place. But Morgan Burkhardt, I think, has pulled that even bigger gap to 3.8 seconds apparently while all this has been going on. So he won't mind this one bit who finishes second and starts behind him on the grid.
Yeah, no, I think that at the end of the day, these guys just having this battle is allowing the front guys to get away. Giovanni Romano in the Clio is right up here. He was up in, well, he's 10th overall now, Giovanni Romano. So stellar job from him in that little Renault Clio. And his nearest Clio competitor is Neil Rocks, who's a further about 8 seconds back. So chaos commenced in race 1. All of these guys finding where they should be. They're for position for the 1 hour 40 race 2. So a lot more action still to come as they've gone through Pont now on the way down into Carasese. I believe that's how you say it. Here at the Lebanon circuit, just under 5 minutes remaining.
I believe it's Carrierasse, James.
Carrierasse. Oh, okay.
That's how it's spelled, I guess, but the French maybe have a different way of pronouncing it. But
Wings machines. That's what makes me wonder where
Mantiveld, sorry. It was Mantiveld, not Verstraeten. Yeah, sorry.
I thought it might have been Van Olst, as it looks like one of the Gold Wings boys in the mix there. Patrick Dopart in the VW Jetta. There are 2 wide, 2 deep currently. These guys fighting, scrapping for every little piece they can. It's Johns, Ridley, Burkhardt. And then there's another VW Jetta in the back, that's Sam Van Olst, and there's one more behind that, which is Eric Maneveld, as these guys continue to fight it out. How is this one going to work out? Well, we're going to find out as these go on the run down the start-finish straight. Jack Johns in that second place, slowly opening up a gap. Carl Ridley and Patrick Dopart going side by side down through into turn 1, then coming down into Triple Gulch, the triple left-hander here at Ledenon, and they're 2 wide. Is this one going to work out as we're on board with Sam Van Olst now? He's got Eric Maneveld behind him, and there's somebody blinking there, unfortunately, and that was Patrick Dopart, who had a little bit of a blink there, but Sam Van Olst, the Jetta's bringing the action here, Ed, and fighting amazingly.
Yeah, I thought it was very, very brave for Carl Ridley to try going all the way around the outside, and he's going to try it again on Patrick Dopart as we go into the middle sector through Carrierasse.
Yeah, on the run now out through Cormel and up to Camion, and the VW Jettas maxing their, well, there's just full-on scrapping at the moment and finding their position for race 2 as we look back from Dopa. That's looking back onto, there's Carl Ridley and Eric Maniveld in the Goldwing machines looking out behind them. And the VWs are still going for it once again and continually going for it here as we're at this Circuit de Ledenon race track with 2 minutes remaining. Who's going to get this from the Jettas? Well, it's going to be a tough one for him, Ed. Who's going to take it, do you think?
Well, Sam Vanel's going wide at the final corner, but yeah, in terms of the overall win, I think Morgan Burkhardt, you've got to feel pretty confident that he's going to be able to close this one out. But in the battle for second, yeah, Jack Johns has only got 8 tenths now on Patrick Dopart, who's started to get Carl Ridley a little bit back under control again. But I think Carl could come back here. I think it's really Dopart, Ridley, Mantiveld all fighting over third here potentially. And if they can drag Jack Johns in, it could be a 4-way fight.
Yeah, Jeremy Haggard in the mix here. Jeremy Haggard 7th in class at the moment as we're going back with Richard Rosado. He's in that Toyota GR86 mix of cars. And yeah, it's been quite interesting for some of these guys, you know, because we are inter-class, and that's the thing. The pace of Rosado and Henriksen in the Jetta and Delano in the GR86, Justin Delano there, Steve Burns in the Jetta. It's a full mix of speed and a full mix of pace and a full mix of ability. How would you cope with this being on the circuit?
Probably not as well as these guys, but yeah, you've really got to be mindful about everyone around you, not just in your class but in the other classes too. As you see here that Rosado is coming up to that massive group of Jettas. It's Richard Rosado, and now we cut back to Mickey Friesen in the Mustang, who's closing on Miguel Torres, who was running third. Gruber then got him, and now it's a 3-way fight for third here.
Yeah, I believe we're on the final lap of the race. I don't think they're
20
going to get
seconds
round.
to go.
Yeah, they're not going to get round. And at the moment, Sven Demmel in that Mustang is coming through into Survey, the left-hander before they go down into Corvette, the final corner on the racetrack here. But you can see the GR86 is still having a right old little ding-dong and still continually fighting here with Delano. There is a Jetta in front. That is Steve Burns in front of these guys and Rosado. And there's also another Jetta in the mix. That's Henriksen. So, yeah, some great action. Delano has finally cleared Burns, but it is going to be Sven Demmel. He's going to take the victory in race 1. Sven in the Mustang, and then it's going to be Giovanni Romano is going to come over the line in the Clios. So Giovanni Romano winning his class as well. And then Andrew Sharpman and Carl Ridley in the Jettas. Once more with Patrick Dopart in and around him. Eric Maniveld's in the mix. Still, Jack Johns looks like he's going to secure second place though. But it is Carl Ridley on the screen currently. And some great fighting going on. And I think you've got to admit, if that was race 1, what are we in for the rest of them?
Well, there's going to be a bit more fuel management as well coming into the mix as we see the Jettas just round the final corner. Dopart looks like he might fall just short of second place to Jack Johns here.
Yeah, looks like he is. Looks like he is going to. Is it coming down
side by side further back?
Line? Yeah, that was Sam Van Holst, I believe, and Mark Daniels.
I think that might be one of the
Clio.
Clios, yeah.
Yeah, Mark Daniels in the Clios was coming over the line. So these guys fighting it out continuously, still right the way down to the checkered flag.
Still fighting, even though the race is over, James.
Yeah, they're giving each other a little bit of fun, aren't they? Why not? You know,
Practice for the main event then coming in a few moments' time.
Yeah. I'm not too sure I would be doing that at that moment in time. I'd probably need time to recover. So there we go. But in the results, it was Sven Demmel taking the victory in the Mustangs, with Kevin Parrish was in second place. So Sven Demmel, Parrish, and then also George Gruber rounds out the top 3 in the Mustangs. Let's move on to the next one. Here, Andrew Sharp in 11th, with Ryan Chevalier in 12th. Brooke Clayton This was the Renault Clio situation. And in the Clios, it was Romano taking the victory with Neil Rocks in second place, and Verstraeten was in third. That's your 1, 2, 3. In the GR86s, it was Andrew Sharp, your winner, and then Chevalier in second place, and Brooks Clayton rounds out the top 3 in that class. So great run from these guys. Moving on to the MX-5s, and Bramley was your winner. Tiemen Bramley taking the victory with Nicholas Shepherd behind him, and then Richard Corford does grab a podium. So great job from Corford there, taking that podium aspect now into the VW Jettas. Well, it was Morgan Berghardt. He went out and absolutely took the victory with Jack Johns in second place, and then Patrick Depart in third. So that was the 1, 2, 3 in the Jettas there. Well, as per normal, that was a little bit manic. What we are going to do is bring you up to date with the championship standings. Rob Wolf, your top 10. On to the Clios. Giovanni Romano out in front on 25 with Tiemen Claessens in second. Damon Mitchell in third and Verstraeten in fourth. Marcus Law in fifth. Neil Rocks in sixth. Matty Crivlin, they are in seventh. And David Johansson in eighth, and Akram Zanoni in ninth in the Clios. In the GR86s, Tyler Agostino out in front there with Ryan Chevalier in second, Andrew Sharp in third, Justin Delano in fourth. Then you got Harry Fox, and then Swatson Struber in sixth, Rosado in seventh. So some great fighting out there as well. Chris Sofa eighth, Gary Brown in ninth, and Patrick Reed rounds out your top 10. Moving on in the MX-5s, it's Richard Corford out in front with Martin Pearson in second, Lincoln Fox in third, Christopher Rowe in fourth, then Carl Smith in fifth, Colin Weiss in sixth, Chris Sill seventh, Logan Warfield eighth, Tiemen Bramley in ninth, and Eduardo Aguirre in 10th. In the Jettas, it was Jake Cranstone, your winner in the first race, with Carl Ridley in second and Eric Maneveld in third. Jeremy Naggard in fourth, Steve Burns fifth, Daniel Downing in sixth, Duncan Murray in seventh, Jesus Amandari in eighth, Andy Fox in ninth, and Sam Van Olst is in 10th. So there you go. Calendar itself, you can see we're at Circuit de Ledenon here this evening, and we go on to Alton Park International, and then we finish off at the Oschersleben Grand Prix on the 21st of April. So 2-week gap between each of these races, so stay tuned for that one, as we're only in round 2 at the moment. Well, Ed, we're in a brief little warm-up. We've got about a minute on the clock here, but to be fair, it's just been fights all the way through.
It was interesting to look at those standings, because our championship leader in Toyota GR86, Agostino, and our championship leader in the VW Jettas, Cranston, neither of them here today, so that blows it wide open for those behind.
Yeah, I think it's going to open it up, but here is the starting grid for heat number 2. Is that the heat 1 starting grid, or is that...
This is the final, surely. We just saw heat 1, didn't we?
Yeah, well, it says heat 1 starting. Right, okay, so Sven Demmel will be on pole position, I believe, with Kevin Parrish in second and George Gruber. Hold on. And we'll have a look at the starting grid once the warm-up's finished. Okay, so in about 6 seconds' time, the starting grid will be able to come through, and we will be able to show it on your screen for this hour and 40 mix of racing at 1 hour 40 minutes. I'd struggle to do an hour on the race circuit. You know what I mean? I don't think I can do as long as that.
It's down to endurance, which is what is absolutely a part of this in these production cars. They can be, especially around a circuit like this, with so many hairpins, it can be tight, twisting, and punishing.
Right, Sven Demmel will be on pole with Kevin Parrish in second, George Gruber third, Miguel Torres fourth, Mikey Fredson in fifth, and Ron Wolf in sixth. This is the grid for the Mustangs. And then you've got Emerson Gowden and Chase Brown. Of course, Chase having his unfortunate incident in race 1. In the Clios, it will be Giovanni Romano with Neil Rocks, Gjelvred Stratton, Dan White, Akram Zanoni, and Matty Cridlin will be down in 6th. In the Toyota GR86s, it's going to be Andrew Sharp, Ryan Chevalier, Brooks Clayton, Justin Delano, Richard Rosado, and Justin Michaela in 6th place. In 7th will be Patrick Reed and Chris Sofa, so that will be the Toyota GR86s. In the MX-5s, it's Timon Bramley, Nicholas Shepard, Richard Corfor, Chris Sewell, Christopher Rowe, and Martin Pearson. And the last but not least, of course, is the Jettas. It's Morgan Berger, Jack Johns, Patrick Depart, Carl Ridley, Eric Maneveld, and Sam Van Oost, your top 6. And then on from that is Jeremy Agard, Andy Fox, Steve Burns, and then Donny Alfie Eriksson, Dan Downing, and Jesus Hamandari. And then beyond that, last one is Duncan Murray. But I don't think Murray took to the start last time out, if I'm not mistaken. Unless he may have done. But there we go. So here we go once more, as these guys are going to be off down through the starts finish straight. Sven Demmel is going to set the pace. Is he going to be able to hold it? Is he going to make it 2 out of 2? He's got Parrish, he's got Gruber, he's got Torres, he's got Fritzen, and he's got Ron Wolf here in the Mustangs. And race number 2, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your hats. It's going to be green, 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 with Sven Demmel going down into turn 1, taking the whole shot with Parrish and Gruber and Miguel Torres sitting alongside him. Then it's Mikey Frenson and Ron Wolf. But at the moment, Sven Demmel has done a great job. George Gruber's on the outside. Is he going to be? It's not George Gruber. Kevin Parrish on the outside. Slight contact with Gruber. That sent him off the side of the circuit. And unfortunately now that's put him right in the mix with the MX-5s with Timon Bradley. There's another spinner as well.
It's Ron Wolf.
Ron Wolf riding me hero from Ed there as these guys continue to fight on here, bud.
Oh, and horrible because the Mustang spinning has put them right into the pack of the Clios, the MX-5s, the Jettas, all getting mixed up with one another there as Akram Zanune extracts himself from that incident. But yeah, that all started because Parrish tried to go around the outside of Demmel at turn 1. And Gruber going up the inside. Gruber then lost it. And then there was that second incident with Ron Wolf just completely looping it round at, I think it must have been a Pont, essentially, which is that first tight hairpin on the track.
Yeah, Giovanni Romano in the Toyota, he's in the Clios, battling away with some Toyota 86s amongst him. And Romano doing a stellar job here. So continue to fight it out. Romano in the Clios. He's got MX-5s. We've got Toyota GR86s. There's a Mustang going to be coming through at some point. However, I think Wolf might be into the pits. And then Andrew Sharp is the first Toyota GR86 as him and Romano battling out side by side. Straight battle. Who'd have thought the Renault Clios would have the pace over the Toyota GR86s? But that is exactly what you've just witnessed with Romano and Sharp. So yeah, fighting. I always just put this down. It's just at times with this so many cars, in this so many series, in this so many classes, it just gets manic.
Yeah, it's battle upon battle. But Giovanni Romano, remember, he's not just quick, he's very good at saving fuel, as we saw in VIR. That was how he won that race, as the MX-5 going well off track there at Pont hairpin.
Yeah, now the guys here in this battle are also going round now, down through Cavalier. They're coming up. They're going to go Jink to the right, and then they got Cavalier in front of them. But it is Miguel Torres, currently from Rosada Motorsport, tracking down on Demmel. Demmel's up the road a little bit here as they go around Survey and then on up into Corvette here. But Demmel fighting out with Torres. And these guys are doing a great job with Nicholas Shepherd in the MX-5s there as well.
Yeah, Shepherd under attack from Bramley, the pole sitter, let's not forget, as they've just got Romano right behind them. So yeah, the MX-5's having to deal with the unwanted guest, Giovanni Romano. But Tim and Joe Bramley, after losing the win last time out, looks very, very fired up here as they go down the start-finish straight.
Yeah. Then nose to tail, Eric Maneveld is in the VW Jettas, as he's leading the line of cars with Depart in and around him. Sam Van Holst is in there, Agard's in there as well, as these guys continue to fight, going round turn 1 down into Triple Gouge. And Eric Maneveld is sitting in that current third. Was he 5th overall, I believe, at the moment from Maneveld. So he's going to be trying to make up gains on his positions there.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jack Johns leading that because I believe Morgan Burkhardt got caught up in the incident at the start, and so that's why he's about 7/10 behind him right now, battling for the Jetta lead, as we see Parrish trying to hold on to that third position. He looks like he's under attack here.
Yeah, it does. For Parrish, holding on as much as he possibly can. And he's got Miguel Torres in the round the mix with George Gruber. And we go on to the front left of George. Round survey they go. Jinking almost down the hill at Laguna Seca there. Very Laguna Seca-esque. If it was a little bit more drop, it would be almost like the corkscrew at Laguna Seca. But George Gruber sitting in 4th in class and chasing down the Aero Connect of Parrish in front of him. So we're going to let these guys continue to scrap right down into turn 1. We'll see if there is a move from Gruber. Is he going to be able to take that inside line? He looks a little bit too far away from Parrish this time. Parrish is looking probably closer to Miguel Torres than Gruber is looking at getting to them. Nothing doing now. Oh, slow it up, slow it up, slow it up. Parrish there with a big old run as they've gone round the Triple Gouge on their way down to Pont. And Parrish, well, he had it coming quick there, Ed, didn't he? I didn't think he was going to stop.
Yeah, I had to get very, very late on the brakes there, but just about avoided major disaster. But yeah, Torres here lapping about over a second a lap slower than Sven Demmel. So Kevin Parrish and Gruber really need to clear Torres quickly if they want to get into this fight for the win, because this is all going Sven Demmel's way once more.
Yeah, Demmel's out in front. He's pulling away. He's 4.5 seconds up the road at the moment, Sven Demmel, and is absolutely flying there. Back into the rest of the field, Nicholas Shepherd is in the MX-5s. Unfortunately, he's just gone wide. That's allowed Tiemen Bramley to go through with Giovanni Romano and Andrew Sharp. So we've got an MX-5 Clio GR86 fight. It looks like Sharp and Romano have got the pace over some of these cars, and you wouldn't necessarily think they would have, but they do.
Yeah, Romano especially being quite impressive, but yeah, the at 86 GR86 Toyota of Sharp, 1.3 seconds ahead of Chevalier at the moment. He's starting to build a gap, isn't he? And once he gets away, we know how quick Andrew Joe Sharp can be. But yeah, the MX-5s, they're going to be more concerned about each other. That I think if Romano is coming quickly enough, neither of them will fight him too hard here. Because if Romano burns through his fuel a little bit more quickly than he did in VRR, then that won't really bother the Mazdas too much. But we know, of course, the Clio has probably got a slightly bigger fuel tank than the Mazda, of course.
Giovanni Romano's got some pace, I can tell you that much, as he's on his way into Pont, the downhill braking right-hander. Then it's going to go up the hill again into Carasese, the left-hander. There's lots of undulation at this circuit. It's very up and down.
It is, yeah, and that obviously affects the car dynamics, especially going over these bumps and crests. Essentially, you've got to make sure that the car is as stable as possible, because otherwise you end up spinning out like we saw in the heat earlier on. Oh, as the Mazda just bolts over the curb there, coming into this must be Cavalier through Camion.
Yeah, but the MX-5 doing the stellar job in front of Giovanni Romano. That is Shepherd holding on. Sharp's dropping slowly back in the GR86. Jack Johns is leading. We jump down into the Jettas. It is Jack Johns, Morgan Berger, Patrick Depart, Sam Van Holst and Jeremy Agard. And we saw a great battle last time out in the Jettas. Morgan Berger taking the victory, but Johns has got the jump off Berger. over the first 8 minutes of this race. But not sure for how long, though, because Burkhardt, I naturally know Morgan, and he's naturally quick in the Jettas. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying by any shape of imagination Jack is a newbie, but it's still very tough to keep a man like Morgan behind him, and I think it's something that he's definitely got to look out for.
Absolutely, because Morgan Becker, we know he is just absolutely relentless, does not give up, and the fact that he's dragging Dopart, Van Alst, and Agard with him is bad news for Jack Johns as well, because if Burkhardt gets through, then he'll have to face this relentless onslaught from the rest of the pack as well, as that looks like Van Alst is going that a little bit wide in 4th place through the triple gouge.
Yeah, that's one of the problems, isn't it? You know, if one of these guys make a mistake, the people behind are going to be gaining positions, and you're going to be losing at least 2 or 3. And I think that's the situation for these. They need to make sure that they continue to fight, but they don't end up doing anything like that. As Sam Bernal's got very close to Patrick Dopart in front of him, and then Dopart's now lost a bit of time to Morgan Berger. Morgan's now 6 tenths up the road. Jack Johns is in first, hanging on to that car as they come round Cavalier now, down the hill, up the hill, and on the run into Carriazzese on the left-hander, Ed. These Jettas, they're not fearful of going at each other here.
No, not at all, but you can see Jack Johns starting to make a couple of mistakes under pressure here. And make no mistake about it, Morgan Burkhardt will just continue to apply it, and he's got a train of friends looking to push him along as well, although despite that mistake from Dopart. But you saw Burkhardt was trying to go around the outside at Carrier-Assay there, and that was really what started, because he got a good run out of Pont just before as they come around the final corner now. So Morgan Burkhardt, he's going to figure out where Jack Johns is weak and then exploit that weakness to its maximum effect.
Yeah, they're going to continue to fight. I think this is the thing. Johns and Burkhardt, they're not going to be letting each other through. Johns is going to scrap. He's going to get his boxing gloves on. He's going to have a good old fight. Burkhardt with a big old slide. You can see the front left just sticking out as he's frantically turning it to the left now. Now these guys continue to fight through Pont. The right-hander dropping down the hill. And then they're going to go up the hill at the other side. So, Burkhardt's getting that Jetta to bounce around. He's right on the edge now. You can see further back there, Sam Van Olst is running side by side with Dopart, not able to make it through. Morgan Burkhardt, Jack Johns continue to fight. You are looking at a scrap and a half here in the VW Jettas. There is no fewer than 6 of them together, with Eric Manivel bringing up the rear. And well, if they're going to continue like this could just be the VW Jetta show.
You can feel a bit of frustration here from Patrick Dopart, how dearly he would love to make it a three-way fight for the lead, but he's got to hold off Van Olst, who himself, as I say that, makes a mistake through Cavalier, and that actually puts him back into the clutches of Jeremy Agard. So Dopart getting a brief reprieve, and now maybe he can think more about Burkhardt in front of him, who is going this way and that, trying to break Jack Johns here. And Jack Johns, to his credit, has actually put up a sterling defensive job so far, but how much longer can he keep this up, James?
Wow, I tell you what, I would have collapsed by now. I would have given up and probably got off the side of the circuit. I don't like pressure like this if you're driving. I can't quite get to grips with it. I'm normally better as a follower than I am as a leader. That's purely because I just can't. I just get all edgy.
Exact opposite of your commentary style, then, John.
Basically, pretty much, yeah. Obviously, the commentary I can lead quite happily, to be honest, and talk for England. But as a driver, no, put me in behind you, and I will quite happily follow you. And there was a little bit of a contact there. I believe that may have been Dopart. And unfortunately, he has lost the positions to Ridley.
I think it was Van Olst that hit him there.
Sam Van Olst getting a little bit close for company to Dopart here. And we're going to have a look back and see. There is Patrick Dopart. Yes, Sam Van Olst was definitely very, very close to Dopart, and there was contact. It could have been a little bit more easier if Van Olst had just left a little bit more room on the left-hand side for him, and that would have allowed him to get through cleaner. Morgan Burkhardt, Jack Johns. Wow, just keep going, boys. That's all we can say. Who's going to come out on top? I have no idea. We have no idea. But I can tell you who's got a little bit of rough idea is Yelvin Stratton and Neil Rocks in the Clios. They are literally 2 tenths apart from each other. Burkhardt's still trying it. Is he still? No. Johns is going to close the door. Burkhardt's looking up the inside. Yowzers! As these guys continue to fight here. And, well, it's just going to be insane. We've got the two Clios now of Verstappen and Rox. They're scrapping it out for second and third in class. And these guys were having a right old little ding-dong a minute ago. They were so close together. And they just backed away from each other just a little bit. But I can tell you what, they don't want to back away too much here because they've only got 7 seconds to the VW Jetta clan coming at them frantically. So they want to make sure that they do manage to stay in front of that because, to be honest with you, Ed, I wouldn't want to be dragged into that. I can tell you that much. As the Clio's gone a little bit wide, Verstappen's gone wide. That's going to allow Rox through. There is the VW war happening at Ledenon.
Yeah, and it seems to be a war of attrition. The only good news, really, by the way, for Patrick Dopart is all them slowing each other up potentially allows him to close back in again. As we get Jeremy Agard trying to go around the outside of Sam Van Olst and pulling it off, actually, into, that must be Cormel there. But yeah, good stuff. And unfortunately, now Jeremy Agard finds the two leaders right in front of him. So it seems there's this battle for third just to be the first to get the viewing spot of these two fighting each other, essentially.
If you could sit back in that car now, where would you put yourself in Agard's position? Do you want to fight the front, or do you want to just sit there and watch him and see what happens?
Well, if I'm managing my fuel, Sam Van Olst has a little dive up the inside. Now he's got the, looks like the GR86 trying to get involved.
Sofa. In there. Yeah.
He can sit on the sofa quite literally, can Agard, but if he wants to
what
use
would
a
you
terrible
do?
pun.
Seriously, what would you do, though? Because I would just sit here and think, I don't know if I want to get involved. I really
Save
do not
fuel
know.
in the draft maybe a little bit. Let's look at Morgan Burkhardt. Jack Johnson defends right to the inside. Both almost going off track as they go off the start-finish line. And now Burkhardt will try and sweep around the outside then into triple
he's not gonna hold
Has he
that.
done it? Surely not.
Oh, he's almost got it. Johnson's got the inside for the exit. Burkhardt still hanging it round the outside. He's not giving it out. Morgan's going to have the inside for the next one. He's got it done. He got it done. Oh, Morgan Burkhardt round the outside. Got it moved done. Half a lap alongside Sam Van Olst and Agard are now scrapping it out here. The VW Jettas have just stolen the show. And, well, can you blame them? Look at the fighting we've got going on your screen at the moment. It's just been absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it looks like the VW Jetta is having all the fun tonight, whereas in the other classes, the leaders have been able to just take off. Only now has Morgan Burkhardt finally gotten himself back into the lead as we see, is that Burkhardt in trouble?
Yeah, he's lost a few places now as Morgan Burkhardt. We're just going to try and see if we can find where that happened.
It was a Camion. He was through Cormel and Camion. He just very, very slow or got some sort of lag spike. A sofa spins around. Who was that?
He spun around. Oh, there's more. That's Manivelle just getting pinballed around there. And unfortunately, that was all a little bit messy from a group of cars that have had an amazing battle.
Yeah, it's a shame they kept it clean up until now, but Morgan Burkhardt, annoyingly for him, has got it all to do again as Van Olst goes around the outside of Agard at the final corner, and it looks like Morgan Burkhardt is trying to follow through around the outside of Agard 2 into turn 1. There we go. So Morgan Burkhardt already back into third position.
Yeah, although he knows he's going to lose the inside, he knows he'll get the exit. That's the problem for...
Well, this is what he did before, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a carbon copy. I'm going to come through, I'm going to have the position, thank you very much, and I've got the position. And now next on his list is Sam Van Olst. Now, Van Olst isn't going to be a little dash out here, mate. He's not going to roll over and get his belly tickled. So if you're going to want fireworks, you might want to keep an eye on this one, because I can tell you that much, there's going to be fireworks. As Chris Sofa in the Joy GR86 there, as we go back up front in the Clios. This is Rock still fighting it out. These guys continually scrapping in the Clio class with Verstappen. So, and I'm heading round in through Survey now. 1 hour and 22 minutes on the clock here, Ed. I feel like I've been at a war already. I've had to open my room in the office. I'm sweating out. I'm not even in the car. And yet we've still got this great fighting happening.
I'm in North Yorkshire, James. It's freezing here, so I'm fine. This is warming me up, if anything. But I think Verstappen really holding up Neil Rox here. It looks like, if you look at the best laps of the race, he just seems so much quicker, I think. Even on this previous lap, actually. 1:34.7, 35.6 for Verstappen. Yeah, and in fact, is that Neil Rock's just trying to line up a move as he has the slot right back in behind, locking up again into triple gouge.
Yeah, Rocks with a 30. I've got him as a 33.89. Verstappen 34.7. So I'm not quite sure what happened to Verstappen that time. But they're going
Yeah,
round.
I think Rocks was just a tenth slower, so they're both lapping in the low 36s at the moment, whereas Romano's in the 33s.
Yeah, I love watching these little Clios, man. They're such little great machines to get hold of. As this is what happened, I believe, to Morgan Burkhart. Oh,
was it a corner cutting?
Yep, slow down for Morgan. And that must have pinged up and just gone. And this is where the incident with Sofa and the GR86s, I think, ended up getting all a little bit tizwazzy, because I don't really think he knew where to go. So there's the contact initially. Now watch the after contact as well. With if you go on board, now they're going to come across each other. That
was Ridley, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Ridley in the Australian version of the Win. I believe it's the Win It and Bin It car. And it kind of left Sofa in that no man's land. He didn't really know where to go.
Yeah, and now still Jack Johns somehow incredibly holding on to the lead from Sam Van Olst. As look at this, Morgan Burkhart in a hurry to clear that gold Jetta ahead of him.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be easy. I know Sam
he has done it before.
Yeah, he has. But Sam is a little bit of a scrapper. Let's just put it that way. He's definitely not there to fight with foam gloves, shall we say. So you've seen Van Olst get himself in the mix at all. He's a hard racer, is Sam. So let's see how Morgan Burkhart handles him. Is he going to take him in the same way around the outside of triple gouge and then get the inside line for Pont? He's not. However, Van Olst is almost looking at the outside. Don't leave it.
Oh, and you look behind. This is really destroying Chris Sofa's race in GR86, because Justin Michaela has caught right up to him as well in that battle for fourth. So keep your eyes on those two battles, all four positions in the different classes here. But our top three, Johns, Van Olst, Burkhart, doing very well not to run into each other as Burkhart looks to the outside of Van Olst and tries to cut underneath him. But there's a GR86 in the way of Sofa.
Yeah, Sofa's not kind of giving up here, is he? He's persistent.
Well, he's got a bit of a hurry up with that battle for position right behind him in his class.
Yeah, that's Justin Michaela right behind him. So Justin still chasing down in the GR86s. But yeah, they're mixing it up here with this Jack Johns, Burkhart, Van Olst situation. And it's almost commencing the fight. Sam Van Olst goes a little bit wide. Sofa, I bet you what, Burkhart is probably in that car going, please get that GR86 out of this way. You are being nothing but a menace. So, but that's the choice of multi-classes. He has just now gone up the inside of Sam Van Olst as the GR80, the VW Jetta. Now there's another GR86 trying to get into the mix as well. Oh my dearie me, hold on to your hats, watch the fireworks, because you're just about to watch a banger go off here in the FTR in this hour and 40-minute race. Ed, this is manic.
Yeah, oh, look at this. That's Burkhart pulling across to defend from Michaela in the other GR86. But if Burkhart is smart here, because you saw that Chris Sofa just sort of almost went up the inside of Sam Van Olst, and Burkhart was able to take advantage. If he does the same thing here as Michaela trying to get alongside, he can maybe use it to get past Jack Johns. But Johns will not go down without a fight. We've seen him just defend, lock up like crazy through these corners, as now Justin Michaela is ahead of Van Olst and Agard. So Agard now has got a third place right in front of him. So he's worked his way back into this then. So our top four in the VW Jettas trying to use the GR86s to their advantage.
Yeah, I think you're just trying to use them where you can. I'm not entirely sure
such a better exit look by Sofa here.
Yeah, Burkhart does manage, I would say hang on, but I don't even think he's trying to hang on. Jack Johns with Sofa still not going around the outside. Oh, Chris!
Sofa and Michaela side on.
Yeah. As Chris just come across the track, was like, hey, this is my bit of road, do one. And now he's continuing right in. out of Corvette, up the hill we go for this run down over the start-finish line. It is Johns, it is Sofa, it is Michaela, it's Berger, it's Agard, it's Van Olst, it's everything. And let's not forget, we've still got the Mustangs running up front. And Sven Demmel is still out in front doing an amazing job. But it's like, this has just been action-packed down in this midfield. Can't really let it go when it's been fighting like this.
I'll tell you what has happened as well. I think Andrew J. Sharp may be out of this race. It's showing him 3 laps down. He was leading that GR86 class, so unfortunately some bad luck for him because, oh no, my time screen is wrong. It is showing him in the lead, so I apologise for that. It's not Chevalier in the lead. Is Andrew J. Sharp as it correctly says there. So that's on me for misreading the timing screen. But yeah, as you say, that amazing fight with the Jettas, it looks like he's going to run around. Jack Johns, the unpassable car, it seems, just refuses to let any human being get past him for more than a second.
To be honest, I wouldn't want him to get through. The problem is Burkhardt.
Oh, Michaela delayed.
Yeah, but Burkhardt now has got some pace over Michaela, and now he's just going to get swamped. Burkhardt's going to run around the outside through Sabay now. Johns is still managed to hold on. The GR86s of Sofa has just gone exceptionally wide and literally nearly had their back end spinning around. But this is exactly like a battle machine. It is a fight to the death between these classes. They're not giving it up what's more at all. And then we've got, in the mix, we've got Justin Delano. He's slowly caught up to all of these guys. There's MX-5's in there, Pearson's in there, 411 of Chris Sell is in there. It is, oh my dearie me, it is just chaos as we've got 3 classes all scrapping it out within about 50 yards of a racetrack.
Well, let's make that 4 because Sven Demmel is about to lap them, James. So he's thinking, what on earth am I getting myself into here? Is this where everyone has decided to congregate behind the VW Jettas, behind Jack Johns specifically? But yeah, Justin Delano, really opportunist actually, because Michaela, the other Justin, got delayed coming out of Pont. And that was going around the outside. That would create that opportunity for him to just slot in and take that 3rd position in class, or 4th in class, I should say.
The problem is that it's where, if you were Demmel, where would you go? I'm not even sure where I would go.
Where the blue flags tell the other person to back off, you go the other way.
No, they're not even, they can't do that. They're just recommended. They're advisory in iRacing. As I'm finding myself losing, when I end up losing arguments about blue flags, and they're advisory. So, Sofa, keep it there, keep it there. That could have been horrible. Pearson's in here as well. I'll tell you what, if you're driving this, right, you must be having the time of your absolute life. Because you've got a Jetta, you've got 86s, you've got an MX-5, and you've got a Mustang. All we need now is a Clio, and we'd have a full house in this mix at the moment.
And I think that might be our first stop we're seeing in the background. Is that Sofa going in, or is that Justin?
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
It's Michaela, sorry.
Yeah,
it's both of them.
Demel's just gone through. All of them. They're all just gone in. No. Oh, the GR86s of Delano nearly got it all a little bit Pete Tong as he's got Morgan Berger pushing it now through Pont, dropping down the hill. They're going to come out of Pont up the other side. We've got Phil across the pond, the YouTube chat. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening, Phil. You have missed an absolute humdinger of a race here. And why, I cannot tell you you've missed it, but you have. It's just been action-packed all the way through the field. It's been non-stop all the way through, and especially in these middle classes.
Yeah, and when we were riding on board with Justin Delano, the rear bumper of Jack Johns looking battered and bruised, I think told the whole story because so many people have been stuck behind him trying to get through, and Delano gives him another hit as well. Remember, that's Morgan Burkhardt right behind, fighting Jack Johns for the class lead once more. And Burkhardt himself gets a little bit delayed by Delano, and that's going to allow the MX-5 to get involved in this as well as Delano. He might even think about coming into the pits now to try and respond to what we saw the other Justin, Michaela, and Chris Sofa do.
Yeah, maybe, but to be honest, if it can go longer, I literally would go longer. I think that's the thing. You've got to just try and find clean air. But I'm not quite sure where that clean air is. So where is the clean air? Where do you look at the track map and think, okay, I'm going to go in, I need to go in now? Because it could just be, you'll end up coming out stuck behind a gaggle of cars again.
Yeah, the only person who really was able to dispense them quickly was Sven Demmel in that Mustang. So he was able to basically put a lap on all of these guys, as we see Burkhardt again not having a great run and making contact side on with Delano. Oh, it's a little bit close for comfort.
Yeah, Morgan Burkhardt, Delano still battling it out. Almost, well, there was almost a little bit of contact. So Burkhardt managing to hold on. He's pushed Delano out onto the side. Delano's now going to try and look through, coming up the inside. Not going to be making this through this time around. Through Camion into Cavalier they go. Johns is still out in front. Burkhardt could really do, in a weird kind of way, he could do with either Delano getting through or Delano leaving them alone. I think this mixture is not helping.
Oh, yeah, especially because I think the VW Jettas can go a lot longer on their fuel tank than the GR86s, so surely Delano's going to have to come in before too long if the other people who he's fighting with in class have pit. But yeah, Burkhardt, he just wants Jack Johns to himself, but Jack Johns, he can stay in front, but he can never escape Morgan Burkhardt so far in this race, and that's what's keeping it so exciting for us. Justin Delano probably getting a bit fed up because he's almost certainly losing time behind these two.
Oh, without a shadow of a doubt, he is. I think either Delano's losing time or Delano just can't. He hasn't got the pace to get through.
He's losing patience more than anything.
Yeah, I think the problem is though is when you haven't got the time and you haven't got the patience and you haven't got the pace, you're kind of wedged where you are, and that's the problem, isn't it? You're wedged where you are. You can't go anywhere. You've just got to try and make it the best of a bad situation.
Yeah, although Morgan trying to defend and attack at the same time and gets spun around, and oh dear, Jack Johns spins around as well through Pont there, so they still emerge side by side. This is going to become absolutely chaotic once more.
Yeah, to be honest with you, Ed, I don't think this first 30 minutes has never been chaotic. Burkhardt now trying to battle it out with Johns. We've still got Delano in there. We've still got Sam Van Nolst in there. Chris Sewell is now in the mix in the MX-5s. You pick a gap and you tell them when to go into the pits here, Ed, because I am staying away from that one.
And is that another one of the Mustangs? Is that Ron Wolf trying to lap these guys as well?
It could well be in the back. No, that's Parrish. Is it Parrish in the Aero Kinetics? Yeah, it's Parrish.
Parrish, yes, sorry.
In the Aero Kinetics machine. He's trying to go through and make, well, he's trying to put laps on them. But again, when you're fighting it out like this and the classes are fighting it out as they are, you've just got to make sure the overtake can come, but it's got to come cleanly. And the problem is when it's clean and where is it clean?
Parrish went wide at the final corner. You can tell he's not quite as confident as lapping these guys as Sven Demmel was, and that's costing him time in his own race, really, because I don't think what was the gap to Georg Gruber? It was was it about 18 seconds then between Parrish and Gruber, or is that between? It's 8/10. There he is, right behind him is Gruber then. So Kevin Parrish stuck behind inseparable Johns and Burkhardt is ruining his race potentially here.
Yeah, but the thing is, where do you end up going? Where do you end up going there as well? Because you've got cars all over the place. Parrish
on the outside, as they're doing right now.
Yeah. So Parrish is caught up, and he's been now with Gruber behind. So he's trying to get through the traffic, but everybody's got to kind of do the same thing.
Ooh, crucial move for Gruber. Cannot afford to be stuck behind Jack Johns. There he goes.
Yeah. Gruber's got through now and he can set on his way. So a stellar job there. Now Johns and Burkhardt back together once more.
You've got to say full credit to Jack Johns just for holding on for so long. But look at this, Burkhardt really sizing him up, trying to go around the outside into Survey. And he might have the run here if he can set himself up for the final corner. He's trying to get alongside here, James.
Yeah, he is at the moment. Is he going to be able to make it, though? That's the thing. Is he going to do what he does normally, goes round turn one, gets the inside line for the exit of one, and then gets Pont all at the same time. One of the Mustangs has just gone into the pits. That's Gruber, I believe, into the pits at the moment, but Burgard's on the left. You've got Johns on the right. He's defending the inside line like an absolute trooper. Is Jack Johns. Is he going to be able to hold on? Here he goes. The move from Burgard. The customary move we've seen. They're side by side. They're battling out. Now Burgard's going to keep it in. Is Johns going to give him the room? He has. He's given him enough room. There's contact. There's contact. Van Olst is coming into it as well. Burgard's going to look down the inside. Van Olst is going to almost send it free wide. Johns has lost 2. There's more contact on the exit.
Oh, demon reactions from Van Olst there, just to go around the outside of both of them. Fantastic. And Ledenon now has got 3 VW Jettas in his way. No, 4, make that 4. Because here comes Patrick Dopar, who's recovered from being spun around earlier. Oh, and now just lets out of the throttle. But wow, Van Olst, fantastic stuff there. And there was also very good defense from Johns, because he knew what Burkhardt was going to do there, and he was able to just switch back underneath him to try and hold on a bit longer, and that created that situation.
Yeah, it definitely did, and I think overall, I would not have wanted to be in this battle. There's too much happening. There's too much going on. It is just absolutely chaotic. Oh,
he's going around and into Van Olst.
Oh, Delano. Dude.
Jack Johns retakes the lead. It seems to be the curse, isn't it? No one is allowed to lead VW Jettas other than Jack Johns. No, you didn't even get a lap there, Paul Van Olst, down to that brilliant move.
Now people into the pits. Burkhardt depart, down in, Burns are all in. It's just going off here, mate. And I have never seen this is worse than an endurance race. I think because in an endurance race, people get a little bit more spread out, and you get that braking classes. Here, we don't even get the braking classes. This is how it all happened. Sam Van Olst on the inside. Oh, did Delano come across in front of them and sent them both off? Is that the problem?
I think so, I'm afraid. I think Delano thought that he was a bit further ahead than he actually was, unfortunately. Look at this. So, yeah, the VW's on the inside, and he just turns across.
Yeah. So it's hard though, because you can get caught together. So
exactly, yeah.
You know, you end up stuck together like a magnet, and that's going to be one of the problems.
Yeah, but Delano, I think that was frustration more than anything else. You see Ryan Chevalier picked from what was second in class. And yeah, so now finally the VW Jetta is slightly more spread apart. Emphasis on slightly there. Delano still stuck behind Agard, Ridley, and Johns now. So I think Morgan Burkhardt has actually been the first of them to pit. So that is interesting, because Carl Ridley's come out of nowhere and inherited that second place.
Ridley's just kind of, it's literally like the lottery, isn't it? And Mikey Fredson is taking the overall lead at the moment.
Yeah, but that's Sven Demmel, just less than a second behind him now, because he's being held up by one of the VW Jettas. Surprise, surprise.
And the thing is as well, it doesn't look like Fredson's been into the pits. So
he is now.
Yeah, there he goes. He's in now. That's going to release Demmel through once again. So Sven Demmel going back into the lead.
Oh, good reactions here for everyone to avoid Parrish as he spins out of what would have been second in class, but now he's going to lose a few places because of that mistake.
Yes, unfortunately for Parrish there.
It's scary.
Goes. Yeah. I think the thing is, you've got to always be aware of your surroundings, and it's always more difficult, isn't it, when you spin like that, because you have got a little bit of issues to deal with. So, interesting here for these guys, and yeah, it's been some great action, great racing, great fighting. You know, where would you sit back and look at it, because it's just been absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I think we've mainly stuck, in fairness to that VW Jetta duel, but we saw a little bit of action with the Clios, Rox versus Verstraeten, with Rox gotten through, and he's pulled a 7-second gap on Jelly Verstraeten. So not quite enough to the pace to trouble Giovanni Romano so far. But certainly maybe if Neil Rox can do something clever with the fuel, he might be able to get into this, or hope that some misfortune belays Romano. There he is, actually. Neil Rox comes in to pit as I say that. So he's not doing anything that clever with the fuel. He's not able to get it to last super long. I think Romano Has Romano made his stop yet? I'm not sure he has. I think he might be just about to, though.
Yeah, it looks like he's just jumped in, isn't he? He's been in and out as Romano, so he has stopped.
So Rox has gone longer on the field, so I was right. There we go.
You were, Ed. Well done.
Could have stuck with my first instinct.
Yes,
but yeah.
But well done, you.
Yeah. The class we've not seen too much of is Mazda MX-5s with Tiemen J. Bramley. An hour to go, leading Nicholas Shepherd by 10 seconds then. So Tiemen J. Bramley, the Australian, it's good to see him repeating that pace that he showed at Virginia International 2 weeks ago. But let's hope his connection holds for his sake, because it would be such a shame for him to lose another dominant position here.
Yeah, it will be, and hopefully that won't happen. So let's hope that...
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah. It's one of them, isn't it? You know, you've just got to make sure that you can try when you're in a mix like this. You've got to make sure that you can hold the car on the circuit, and that's going to be the hardest things for some of these guys.
Yeah, so Burkhardt has pit early to jump Jack Johns there. You saw him just side by side with Stephen Burns, who he has cleared just coming out of Pont and into Carrier Assay. So this means this is really going to go into his Burkhardt's favour, because he's also been able to pass Patrick Dopart, who I think hit first and was able to just jump Morgan, and he's now back ahead. So Carl Ridley and Donny Alpha Henriksen are both leading, but neither of them are pit yet.
Yeah, but Burkhardt will, I'm sure, come through the order really quite sternly.
There's Romano. So Romano had some sort of extra infraction. Maybe he sped in the pits, because he's dropped down to third now.
And it didn't look like he stopped at all. It looked like he was just driving straight through.
Exactly, yeah.
For Romano, unfortunately, that's now put him behind Van Straten and also Rox. So Romano now has got a little bit of a challenge. It looks like we've lost a few cars here. Interesting one. Ericsson also is into the pits. Is he another one that's just driving straight through there, or was there actually a stop? He did.
I think he hadn't made his pit stop yet, because he was running second before that. Now Morgan Burkhardt leads from Patrick Dopart and Downing, who I don't think has stopped yet, and then there's Jack Johns. Oh, and round goes one of the Mustangs. That looks like
see who that was quick enough.
Might have been chased. Ron Wolf, sorry.
Ron Wolf.
Ron Wolf.
Looks like it might have been Wolf off there. So unfortunately for Wolf, and round he goes. Johns, Downing, no, Johns, Delano, Ridley, Burns, Agard are back together. Again, there's a Mustang in the mix. There's a VW Jetta in the mix. And there's a Toyota GR86. So if you're going to throw it in there, you might as well make a pressure cooker and just throw them all in together.
Yeah, why not? Keeps the race easy to follow when you've got several races going on at once. You don't have to look anywhere else, do you, James? But
no.
It is a bit of a worry. Which car to follow, though? So we look at Agard, who, having one of the later ones to pit, along with Johns, him and Johns having to fight their way through these VW Jettas that are on different strategies here. So he's got Stephen Burns right ahead of him, of course. Then one of the Mustangs that's trying to lap Carl Ridley just in front of them. Just behind Agard is Donny Alpha Henriksen, who's just come out of the pits. He's looking pretty quick as well, about 4 seconds behind. There he is. You can just see him in the background.
Carl Ridley in that Jetta. So Steve Burns. We've got a Mustang in the mix.
Ooh, wide by Ridley. Tyres starting to go.
Yeah, Brown's in the mix here with him. So I expect Brown to be able to get through. He has got through. That's going to release Dopart, Downing, Johns, Ridley to continue on their fight here.
Yeah, the problem for Johns is that he's being a little bit held up by Dan Downing now. He's dropped to 1.8 seconds behind with all the Mustangs and such lapping them. So there is Dan Downing. Oh, and he's trying to fight with Delano, who just seems cannot get some... He's finally got some space to himself as Justin, but not as soon as he would have liked.
Yeah, not enough, I don't think. Not enough for Delano. I don't quite know with Justin Delano, though. He's got Dopart, Matty Cridland, Burkhart, Pearson, and that's before he even gets to somebody in his own class, which is Michaela. So, well, yeah, Michaela and Sofa. So at the moment, Delano's got to overtake 5 cars to even make a gain up in class here.
Yeah, that's the problem, because after they pit, not only have Sofa and Michaela undercut them, but he's in exactly the same situation that he was before. So being held up, it can just compound your race as the stints go on. But meanwhile, Michaela, he fancies another go at Sofa, who we saw make a couple of mistakes under pressure while trying to lap the VW Jettas. But this time, they've not got that problem. So Sofa has got a little bit of clear air to himself, but he might be looking in his mirrors rather than looking ahead, especially with that Mustang about to lap the pair of them.
Yeah, it's I don't really know. We've broken the last hour, and to be honest, there's just been chaos.
Sounds like the last hour has broken you, James.
Man, I've never ever commented on a race that's just been so manic. It's just been so much going on. I don't think I've ever done a race like that, even in a short 20-minute sprint. You know, this is an hour 40. I thought they were going to be a little bit more spread out, but they're not. They're just.
Did you not learn anything from VIR, James?
I did, but I didn't think Ledenon was going to bring this kind of action.
Well, you said you'd never commentated at Ledenon before, and neither have I, to be fair. But I went in with an open mind, and now I'm seeing how it unfolds. But meanwhile, this is Ridley starting to close on Jack Johns, and he's dragging Burns and Agard with him here. So this is an interesting little battle just off of the podium. So Dan Downing, on this different strategy to all the others, has sort of worked his way in, hasn't he, in the 505?
Yeah, he has. But man, I'm not quite sure how this is all going to work out. Johns, Ridley, Burns, Agard are all near enough close together again, so that's going to be an interesting fight. We've got Ryan Chevalier and Nick Shepherd are also close together in 9th and 10th overall. That is an 86 and an MX-5 battle with Sharp and Bramley in the next 2 86s and the MX-5s, but at the moment Dan Downing sitting here, leading the pack with Jack Johns, Carl Ridley, Steve Burns. Burkhart has managed to pull a master stroke with the pit stops here. He's got out, he's got it done, he had clean air and he's pitted all on his own and away he goes. So that's now Burkhart away from what has been the chaos of the mid-pack.
Yeah, you would expect him if they can both probably pull a little bit of a gap, and Burkhart and Dopart, we sort of expected both of them to be running up front as well. So now that they've not got Jack Johns to hold them up, they potentially got that clear air that they really needed. Other interesting thing that's been going on, Giovanni Romano's got the bit between his teeth, just got the gap to Jelly Verstraeten below 5 seconds. He's been lapping 1:33.9s, whereas Verstraeten and Rox have been lapping 1:35.4s and 1:34.7s in the case of Rox. So Romano has been rapidly closing that gap. He's going to catch the Belgian ahead of him before too long, and then things will get very tasty.
Yeah, he's got about 4.6 seconds, I believe, currently to try and close down here as Romano, as he is...
It was about 8 or 7 seconds not too long ago, so he's just chewed in.
But he seems to have that Clio hooked up, doesn't he? I think that's the thing for Romano. He seems to be in a different world with the Clio to some of the others. He seems to be able to do things with the Clio that other people can't do. So for Romano, a great job, right? And well done to him. I can tell you now, Miguel Torres and Kevin Parrish in the Mustangs are literally nose to tail. They're on the run up through Camion currently, and Cavalier, and they are literally nose to tail here. So it's also worth keeping an eye on that Mustang battle up front, because they're not stopping.
Oh, here they are.
Parrish is trying to go around the outside. Slight little bit of a hit check. That's now spread them back out, but I think Parrish has got the pace to go forward again.
Yeah, Torres really does not want to be bullied out of the way here, but he looks very vulnerable, doesn't he, in that pink and grey Mustang, and the yellow and black one trying to go around the outside as they approach the final corner of Curvette. Then he tucks in and prepares himself for the run down the start-finish straight and into Triple Gouch. So how is he going to play this? He sticks to the outside. Miguel Torres defends the inside.
Parrish, is he going to try that outside line? We've seen Morgan Berger pull it off in the Jetta. Are we going to see Parrish pull it off in the Mustang? He's got to get alongside.
He's got to get good momentum as well.
Yeah, and he has done that, and he's got it. He's pulled off the Burkhardt manoeuvre, and he went round the outside of Triple Gauche and in the inside of Pont. He's got the job. Great stellar move from him. So well done from Parrish as he moves up there. And, well, yeah, good job there, buddy. Good job.
He's recovering from that spin, remember, that he had here not about 10 minutes ago. But now he's got 14 seconds to make up to Georg Gruber to get back to where he was in the race. So as we look at Jack John, still stuck behind Dan Downing, having a little peek up the inside into Pont. But sadly, not quite deep enough for him to pull the move off. So now he'll be on the outside into Carrierasse.
Yeah,
no, switches to the inside.
Now switches back through through the corner on that run out into Cormel and then up to Camion. Johns, Ridley, Burns, down in Dopart. They've got Wolf in front. He's in the Mustang coming through the field. So Wolf's going to try and get back up. Well, he's got a long way to go. I'm not going to lie for poor old Wolf, unfortunately. He's got a bit of a mission to try and get back up there. But these guys continue to fight. We've got 5 Jettas and mixing it up here. The Jetta's been providing the action. The other classes are a little bit more spread out. Damel's got an insurmountable lead in the Mustangs. Bramley's got it in the MX-5. Sharp's got it in the 86. And Rox has got it in the Clios. However, Romano's got the gap down to 1.8. And unfortunately here, Johns, well, he's in the mix once again as Jack Johns. And if he's ever had a battle of his life here, this would probably be it.
Yeah, he's getting a taste of his own medicine, wasn't he? Because remember, he was holding up the entire pack earlier, and now having been undercut in the pit stops, finds, unfortunately, being stuck behind Dan Downing has transformed his race from fighting for the win to maybe fighting for the podium here. And in fact, Carl Ridley looking pretty menacing behind him as well. So he's got to be careful as he tries to pass his countryman Dan Downing. He's having another look up the inside then into Pont, and this time he makes a much more committed dive.
He does. Round the inside goes John now. Is that going to spell the end of Downing's move? Is he now going to end up getting back into the hands of Ridley, or is he going to be able to push Johns? I've got a funny feeling there's probably at least still one more pit stop to go, so that's going to mix it up a little bit. We've got an MX-5 hanging around in the action here. I'll see if I can find out who that little MX-5 is. That's Bramley, the leader of the MX-5. Is just about to go up the inside of Burns. So that little MX-5 of Bramley doing the stellar job. He's on, obviously, lapped these guys now, and that's put the Jettas 1 lap down. It looks like Burns has got a little bit of damage on that front left there. As you can see, the wheel sticking out a little bit further than the other side for Steve Burns. So he must have had contact at some point. But he has got Agard closing all over the back of him. And now he's come up to it. The Clios have got close. Romano is right up above, behind Verstraeten. Romano has closed the gap down, and he has got right up there now. But it's there he is on your screen. He's just about to go up the inside of Camaresi, and now on the run out to Cormel. Job done for Romano. He's closed down an absolute huge gap and has taken that second place away.
Yeah, he was 1.3 seconds faster the previous lap than Jelly Verstraeten, so Verstraeten not able to fight that very much. But now, Neil Rox, he's actually started to set times only about half a second slower than Giovanni Romano, so he's going to have a much tougher time catching Rox, who's 9 seconds up the road here. And then look at him locking up, just like we saw VIR in Virginia, just into every hairpin, every tight corner, just absolutely abusing those tyres to get the maximum lap time out of them.
Yeah,
here's what's happened to Christopher Rowe out of Pont. He just stayed on the power that a little bit too long once he knew he was going round. And this is Bramley, the leader in MX-5s, going round as he hits the 505.
No, Tiemen
Downing
Bramley.
He hit there.
He was coming round to lap the cars and unfortunately got caught up with Downing. Devil's in there, the leader of the Mustang, with Downing as well. He's gone past on Downing. Matty Cridland, they have just unfortunately pulled over to the side of the circuit. Looks like could be game over. Well, no, he's not. He's still going. But let's have a look at the team on Bramley. Dan Downing situation. Did Brownlee go and send it? No. Did Downing get it all a lot of it wrong? As we're back to live pictures of these guys fighting out, it looks like Brownlee is going to make the inside work there and get the run down the start-finish straight and past Downing once more. Yeah, fighting, and I think Brownlee is going to be on his bike a little bit here. I don't think Dan Downing's little Jetta is going to keep up with that MX-5.
It does seem unlikely, but Bramley, his lead to Nicholas Shepherd has been halved to 6.5 seconds then. It was about 14 seconds earlier, wasn't it? And look, there we go. Downing, I think, just didn't see Bramley, and he gets a hit from Ridley for good measure as well, who couldn't have avoided him with that short notice.
Yeah, unfortunately, it was a move that possibly should not have been on, but yeah, unfortunately, they did make the maneuver, and that was the outcome. They're getting a little bit more spread out. Cridland is making up places. He's just gone past Manenveld in the Jetta. Next on his list is Downing. Burns has got Agard tucked up right behind him again. And Agard and Burns are going at it. The Scotsman, of course, over Jeremy Agard, who has got the Swiss and the German flag there. So I can't quite pinpoint where he's from, I'm sure.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what happened to Matty Cridland. I think they just must have had possibly some sort of hardware error on their end, or maybe a wheel failure. That can happen sometimes, and so they just pulled off to the side of the track. I thought they were being lapped for a moment there, but that wasn't what happened to Matty, so I think they're fine.
I think Cridland is fine. Corfors into the pits. It looks like Vernost is out. Patrick Reed is the last of the runners. 34 cars on the track. Justin Michaela on your screen currently in the MX-5s. He's got Chris Sofa in front. Now we go back to Agard and Burns. This is the battle, because Bramley's on his way through as well. So it's getting very, very interesting here.
Yeah, Agard leaves just enough space for Tiemen J. Bramley then. I think such a shame for Sam Van Alst as well, because he was leading as well, wasn't he, for about half a lap in the Jettas earlier on. But that damage from the hit, I think, must have really, with one of the GR86s, wasn't it? Must have really, Delano, wasn't it? Must have really impacted his race and sort of caused it to spiral out of control. So that's a big shame to lose him from the race. Meanwhile, Burkhardt, of course, leads Dopart by 6.8 seconds now. So it's really going Morgan's way as Agard tries to get past the hobbled car of Burns in front of him.
Yeah, well, Burns has definitely made the contact. You can see the left front wheel sticking out a little bit further than it
That might have been right at the start, wasn't it? I think that Burns got involved in that.
Yeah, I wonder how Brownlee's going to handle Ridley and Johns. Not at the best of times overtaking the back marker as a poor old Bramley at the moment, and he's got to make sure that he makes it through this time, though, cleanly, doesn't he? Because otherwise...
Yeah, he's lost more time to Nicholas Shepherd, 5.8 seconds the gap. So Tiemen not panicking just yet, but starting to get that little bit anxious the more Jettas he finds in front of himself. There we go. Looks like Johns is about to be dispensed with, because the MX-5 is up the inside of him. Oh no, actually Johns holds his line ever so slightly. Is he going to turn across? Oh yes, he is.
Jack Johns holding on from Bramley. I'm not quite sure for how much longer.
Well, he can't let him through here because he'll be vulnerable to Ridley if he does.
But the thing is, it might be easier, because holding him up is gonna pull him into Ridley.
Depends
behind.
where and how he does it, really. If it's into a hairpin, then potentially Ridley could dive up the inside of him. But if it's in between, like down a straight or something, or down a flat out sort of section of corners, it might be a little bit easier. Here we go. Tiemen's got the inside. Camion, not the easiest place to lap someone at, though. It's sort of almost 90-degree right-hander that you take flat out, essentially.
Yeah, now he's going to try round the outside. Is he going to try running around the outside? He is.
Flashing his lights at Jack Johns.
I kind of understand. He's had to take an off track there. That was taking an off track to get through. Tiemen at the moment still there with Johns. Oh!
And he gets tagged around. And there goes Shepherd. Shepherd through into the class lead of the MX-5s. think Bramley justifiably is going to be more than a little bit annoyed with Jack Johns. He's certainly not going to be on his Christmas card list at the end of the year. Though the postage from Australia will probably be quite a lot anyway to the UK, but never mind. That's irrelevant.
I still think he might send him one, and I don't know.
I don't think it'll be particularly positive.
No,
anyway.
I don't think it will be. Thank you very much for spinning me around on the racetrack. Let's put it that way. That he took the off track on the inside. Oh.
Yeah, he was trying to come in from the outside. If that was genuinely the same car in the same class fighting for position, I might be a little bit more on Jack John's side there. But I think Tiemen, he'd been showing his nose repeatedly, and Johns had been turning across on him. So I think maybe he's entitled to a little bit more space than that.
Yeah, Johns probably could have been a little bit closer, to be fair, looking back at it. I think maybe Jack was a little bit overzealous there with
Burns defending.
Burns and Agard. Well, they're continually fighting. Bramley's in there again. That's Carl Ridley in the mix here. Steve Burns is in there. Bramley's in there. The Toyota.
That Nick Shepherd now struggling with all this traffic.
Yep. It's just all going off. Chevalier. Oh, hold it, Burns. Hold it. He has
burning the tires, yeah.
Yeah, but now he's got Cridland down in behind him. So, yeah. This is just... Wow. Oh. Chevalier now in the GR86. There's Sharp just up the road. Each class, this is the weird thing, right? These guys are used to battling within interclasses, okay? So when they do a race, they might just do a GR86 race, or they might just do a Jetta. Well, Jettas are no longer, I don't think there's a series for them, to be honest. But these are all used to racing in the classes that they're in. The strength of field is the interesting thing. The Toyota GR86 is the lowest strength of field. It's the only one below 3K. Mustang's a 3.4, Mazda's 3.4, Clio's 3.4, and Jetta's 3.4. What are the chances? Well, we've got the GR86s on 2.4, as the GR86 Chevalier is just trying to go round Johns. Shepherd is in there. Tiemen Bramley, how far back is... Oh, he's a little bit further back, but yeah, interesting one so far.
Yeah, Brownlee with that spin, of course, costing him a lot of time. But yeah, I wondered if Ridley was trying to get out of the way there. It looked like he just braked really, really late into Carrier-Assay to get out of people's way on that previous lap. But yeah, here we go. This is Jesus Amandare. I think he's about to leave the race. Just comes to a stop then, and retires from the race, sadly, at Survey. And here's Pearson looping it around from third place at the final corner in a shower of smoke there.
Pearson sitting, of course, third in the MX-5s. Doesn't want to really lose anymore if he can help it. Sven Demel out in front, who's just been running on a Sunday drive with his grandma in the car in that Mustang, teaching him how to go round to Ledenon, I think, here, because he's just been on his own, hasn't he? He's done a great job.
Yeah, the definition of a untroubled Sunday drive. 44 seconds, is it, ahead of your group at 46 seconds, I should say. So Grouper has just not been able to really make any kind of impression whatsoever. And a lot of it is because of this traffic that he's just not quite been as efficient lapping it as Sven Demel has been. But meanwhile, Romano has taken even more chunks out of Neil Rocks these last couple of laps. The gap has gone from 7 seconds to 3 seconds then. 1:34.7 for Neil Rocks, 1:33.9 for Giovanni Romano.
Giovanni Romano is trying to close up as best as he can.
Yeah, you can see him now, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. When you start seeing somebody, you start going quicker. And then you can't quite work out why you're going quicker.
Because you've got a target, haven't you? That you can visibly see.
That's the thing, isn't it? You've got a target. You've got somebody to aim at. And I think for Romano, he can, especially as he's pulled back so much time. You know, he was behind Verstraeten. He's now opened up an 18-second gap over Verstraeten. He had it all in. Justin Michaela's now come into the pit lane once more. This will be for stop number 2, I believe, for Justin, as he's in the pit lane. Ron Wolf is trying to come back through the field. Next on his list is unfortunately Giovanni Romano. 2.6 seconds now to Neil Rocks. This is going to be hard for them to hold on, I think.
Yeah, as we see Romano locking up again. And the thing about Romano is he's kind of lucky that he got that penalty for, I think it was speeding in the pit lane with about an hour left in the race to go. If he got it with maybe 20, 15 minutes left in the race to go, then you might see him panicking a little bit more. But he knew he had the pace in hand. He had the time to sort of, get past Verstappen and then slowly but sure, well, actually rather rapidly catch the back of Neil Rocks as he pulls right out to the right to make sure he doesn't have any contact with the Mustang that could destroy his race while it's in a promising position here. But yeah, Neil Rocks just starting to really feel the pressure here because he knows he's going to have to hold on for another half hour, 35 minutes or so, and that might be a little bit too much even for him given what the Canadian behind is doing right now.
I as much as I would love to think that Rocks has got strong hopes of holding this, I'm also very worried about the fact that Romano's coming as quick as he's coming. That's the thing for Rocks. He's closing the gap so quickly. And I think for Romano, he's pulled out. What he got? He got 1.9 on lap 35, nearly a second on 36, nearly a second on 37, 0.8 on 38, and a tenth on 39. But obviously that was due to what was happening with the cars in and around him. So he's definitely making inroads into Neil Rocks, and it's I think it's going to be difficult for Rocks to hold on here. I've got to be honest. I think Romano is just looking far too pacey.
Yep, and meanwhile in GR86s it looks like Chevalier has dropped to just outside a second of Andrew J. Sharp then, as there they are. So he's got a Mazda right behind him, and is that Tiemen J. Bramley, isn't it? Shepard, sorry.
Shepard's behind him, yeah. Bramley's a little bit further down the road. Tiemen Bramley is trying to clear Agard in the Jettas, and also, funny enough, he's going back up to Jack Johns right about now, and we've seen how that one's worked out already.
Well, oh dear, let's hope Jack Johns is a little bit nicer it gives a little bit more space to Shepard than he did to Bramley. But he doesn't seem to like the MX-5s, does he? Here we go.
I don't know if he doesn't like them. I just think, unfortunately,
just ends up in the same spaces as them.
Yeah, that's the thing. They drive the same way as such on the racetrack, and I think they end up into the same space. But that was a little bit more easier. So now Johns has got Agard, Ridley, Chris Sofa in the back of the GR86s. Chevalier has now got the Nick Shepard right behind him, while trying to also go forward into Sharp. So there is Shepard. He's just gone through on Chevalier. He's got to do the same thing to Sharp, which might bring Sharp into contact with Chevalier. So all still to play for.
Chevalier trying to barge his way back through past Nick Shepard here.
I would let him go. I've got to be honest. Why do it? Let him go, follow him, and let him drag you up to the back of the person you're trying to chase. All you're going to do,
I think he thinks he's faster here. That's the thing.
Yeah, but he may think he thinks he might be faster because he's going to do a lot of thinking in the car over this period of time. But
I'm going to pretend I understood that sentence, James. But
thanks, mate. I don't. Now I've repeated it in my head. I don't even understand what it was either. But I just don't see how Ryan Chevalier can be. And he just follow the car. Follow him. Let him pull you into Sharp.
Ooh, Giovanni Romano's now 8 tenths behind Neil Rocks. He's consistently lapping 1.2, 1.3 seconds lap faster than the British driver in front of him. Then as Shepard, if anything, starting to defend here. But look at Romano. He's just absolutely flying out there. And Neil Rocks knows he's got nothing in response. And they've had to let the Mustang through as well that's come to lap both of them. And so this is going to create a little bit of a bottleneck here. They've got a little bit of free air, and Romano can use that to his advantage here.
Yeah, he can see him now. He can see him to the point of where it's almost reading the livery that he's got on there. So I can guarantee you Romano's going to be pushing like a trooper, because he's not going to want to not push like a trooper. And the thing is, once he clears Rocks, and I do believe he will, and that's no disrespect to Neil, he's in there on merit, I fully understand that, but I just think Romano has got a little bit too much for Rocks.
Yeah, both of them have pulled a 24-second gap on Verstappen, so they've both had really, really strong races. Romano really only in this situation because of having to do that extra trip to the pit lane, essentially. And yeah, Giovanni looking to really extend that championship lead here, and Neil Rocks, is he going to get particularly defensive here, or do you think he'll just let him go and just think about not losing too much time overall? I think he might get a little bit defensive.
Yeah, I was going to say, you tell me a racing driver that's not going to park that car where he needs to. The trouble is, where the Clios are so small in conjunction with the Mustang and the Jettas, Romano's still got a lot of racetrack to play with. He's still got a lot of gap to go for. You know, Rocks can't make that car bigger than a Mustang, bigger than a Jetta, which are two bulkier cars than what he's in. So Romano's got quite a wide racetrack in conjunction to play with here, and I don't think it's going to be long. I'd be surprised if Rocks holds on till the end of this lap.
Yeah, racers fun, it says on the back of Neil Rocks' car. I wonder how much fun this is going to be, because Giovanni Romano is just all over him and going really wide as he tries to get the best line into Chevrolet.
Yeah, here he goes now. Around the outside, Rocks is going to squeeze him a little bit. You can see a load of cars coming up over the back hill there in the background. That was quite interesting.
It's all the Jettas, I think, fighting each other over third behind. It's the. In fact, Jeremy Agard has got past, because I think Jack Johns is in trouble here.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure if in trouble would be the word for Jack Johns. I think, to be honest, if he's not sweating...
Between incidents, maybe.
Yeah, I think he's also going to be sweating his head off.
Here comes Romano.
Yeah, he's going to make it.
He's got that Mustang pushing along. He's going to be free wide here.
The Mustang's got to go. You got to go. You got to go. He did go. And a great job there from that Mustang. He went, he cleared, he ran off. And that, I believe, is not Gruber. Was that Chase Brown in the Mustang? It was Chase Brown. Now Romano's going to go through. Now we're going to watch Romano start opening up the gap. He's closed too much not to open up.
Look at him locking up, showering Neil Rocks in tyre smoke there. But that was a bad situation for Neil, because with them going free wide, he sort of was forced to stick right to the outside and let both of them through, essentially. So he sort of was on a compromised line. He couldn't really defend from Giovanni Romano, even if he wanted to, because he was just on the wrong line in that situation.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's when you're pushed out like that, you're always going to be under pressure. And unfortunately, it looks like Dan Downing and one Mr. Eric Manifeld have made contact. That group that was so close, but now they're not. Oh, you see it on your screen now. Watch Manifeld just come in, far too hot. Spins down and he waits for Downing to go through from Eric there. He gets that car out of the way, allows Downing to go around the outside again. Great sportsmanship there from Eric Manifeld. He did initially cause the incident, and now he's let Downing back through so they can go and resume their little battle here. So yeah, great racing. Chase Brown is just cleared Martin Pearson down, Downing into the pits. So that second stop did have to come ahead. And this is where now the fireworks. This is going to be like sitting at a Chinese firework display over the next 29 minutes.
Yeah, and I think Jack Johns in there. So maybe Downing and Johns both having to pit to... Johns especially having to repair some damage to that car there. We know Stephen Burns just carrying on. He's got all the way up to fourth, despite his wheel looking dangerously out of alignment on the front right there, I think.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see for Burns' point of view whether or not there is any form of damage in the cockpit. You see the damage on the car. There's nothing in the cockpit. The wheel is straight. It doesn't look an ideal car to drive, don't get me wrong, but it also doesn't look like it's affecting him. Saying that as we just watch him come around that corner and he's massively out of alignment, but
and he's under attack from behind as well from Donny Alpha Henriksen, and remember Henriksen was one of the last ones to pit as well, so he's got fresher tyres and can go much longer on the fuel tank than Stephen Burns.
There you go. He's in the tank, and
it's that Agard coming in as well just ahead of him.
Yeah, Henriksen just carries on, says I don't need to. Thank you very much for that. Sharp's in the pit. Chevalier's also in the pits. So the 1-2 in the Toyota GR86s, they're going to be coming out together. and it looks like Sharp has still managed to get the lead out of the GR86s. He didn't quite get the jump on in this time around, and Chevalier there does not get out near Sharp. He's got Romano in front, and I believe that's a little MX-5 of Martin Pearson. It is on the 404 of Martin. So Pearson's in the mix here, probably with cars he doesn't really want to be.
Yeah, and he's about 33 seconds behind Tiemen J. Bramley, who's been catching up to Nicholas Shepard little by little. I think he's about 6 or 7 seconds down on him at the moment. So Nicholas Shepard was sort of given an absolute gift of that lead, and he's not let it go so far. But Bramley could be quite fired up in this last half hour.
Oh, yeah. Who wouldn't be, eh? Last half an hour, we've been in a good old scrap fight. Scrap again. It's just been one thing after another, and we've got Chase Brown and Miguel Torres in the Mustangs. They're on their way past some of the GR86s. So you can see Miguel Torres settling in behind Chase Brown. Miguel Torres in behind Chase Brown. So that's going to allow these guys to fight. That Toyota GR86 there.
Is that Delano ahead of them?
Yeah, I think it is. Looking at the livery, it is Delano, yeah. Justin Delano is the car in front. For me,
he's really holding up Chase Brown a bit here, so he needs to get through sharpish.
Torres, thought about it. Why has Brown not got the overall pace of the car in front? That's what I don't understand. The Mustang has got a lot more pace than that GR86. So either Chase Brown hasn't got the pace, or he's got damage on the car that hasn't got the pace. But either
Possibly,
way,
yeah.
he hasn't got the pace, which seems weird, considering he should have cleared him a while ago, and he should get him down the start-finish straight here.
Yeah, that Mustang is a monster down the straight, so he should be able to...
he's got released anyway. Delano's into the pit, so all me conspiracies have gone out the window as Delano's got through. Torres is now going to look at trying to clear that MX-5 down into turn 1. And Torres did go through there over the MX-5, so great job from him. We've got a Toyota GR86, the leader of the Clios, Romano and Martin Pearson. They're all very close together. You can see them there on the racetrack. Just pick out who we've got close and who's in the mix at the moment, but it looks like Romano's got maximum amount of airtime here. If anybody wants to sponsor Giovanni Romano, go and sponsor him, because he's had loads of airtime once again. So a great little fight from Giovanni Romano.
He wouldn't have got any if it wasn't for that penalty, because he was leading by such a long way as well before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's forced him to do a lot of the hard work, hasn't it? To now once again pull away from Neil Rocks. And into the pits he comes.
Yeah, into the pits he comes there.
Remember, Rocks went slightly longer on the field, didn't he? So he could be trying to do the same thing here. Just what Romano did to win that battle in VR, Rocks may have learned from that and trying to replicate it here.
Well, the thing is, if you're doing something and it works, why would you change it? The problem is for Rocks, he's coming round now. Before he gets up to the last corner, he's just gone through Survey and is running up into Curvette. So whether or not he's going to get close to Giovanni Romano, that's going to be the question. Romano's on his way out, and second place is only coming around the final corner. So I think...
Yeah, he's pulled the gap then.
Yeah, Giovanni Romano looks like he may have pulled that gap out. However, he's heading out into a Mustang MX-5 Jetta Clio battle. Rocks we'll give it a minute and let it settle down. It says 7 seconds
back.
Yeah, 7 seconds. So Romano clears Rocks, and that's it, really. I think Romano's going to go on and take it. Surprisingly enough, the cars now, the later we've gone into the race, they're getting more and more spread out. And it looks like Jack John, did he have an issue here? Because for some reason...
He did, yes, because he was running third and then dropped down. He's down ninth at the moment. About, let's see, about 20 seconds behind Mantenveld.
Yeah.
Also, interestingly, Donny Alpha Henriksen, is he yet to pit yet? Or has he pit, because he was about 59 seconds ahead of Burkhardt, and then there was... after Burkhardt's pit stop, and I wonder if Alpha Henriksen has done his pit stop now. Now he's come out 16 seconds ahead, so he's got another pit stop to do apparently. So he's been caught quite rapidly by Burkhardt at the moment.
Yeah, there's been a couple of spinners. Patrick Reed has had a moment. Matty Cridland's had a moment. Cridland's just stopped again on the side of the circuit. I'm not entirely sure. I think Matty might have an issue here because he's just stopped once more.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, they do, yeah. And it's now just, it's strange what's happening to Cridland. He just kind of pulls over again.
Look at the front wheels on Maddie's car. They just locked there.
Yeah, but that's because he's applying brake pressure. I'm just wondering if...
They're going at such high speed at that point as well.
Yes,
they go either side of Matty.
It's a bit confusing what they are up to.
I wonder if Matty might be suffering a screen freeze or something, and that's so Matty has to sort of go back into the game essentially.
Well, yeah, but it's going to take him longer than that to get back into the game unless he's on.
He wouldn't be able to get on the brakes. Yeah, there's Reed going around.
Yeah, Reed. That's how Reed had his moment. It looks like Chris Sofa has also had this moment, and he's gone and spun round as well.
Not the first time we've seen Chris spin it there.
No, unfortunately, it's not the first time we've seen any car spin it there. Let's be real.
Not just Chris. You're right.
And this is Rob Wolf's practically the same corner. So, right, after the pit stops, again, we've had another set of stops. Carl Ridley has made his stop, as we can see Moki Frentzen go round. That's in the Mustangs. Ridley, Dopa. Right, okay, so we've got Ridley and Agard are close together. Burns, Downing, and Rowe. We've lost Johns out of the mix, so Johns might come back through. Alfie Henriksen's in the pits. He looks like he's just about to come out in and around Carl Ridley and Jeremy Agard. And they've just gone through. And Henriksen is still on his way out.
I think, yeah, Henriksen in the pits. You're right. So that means this is now a battle for third.
Yeah, we've got a 3-wide battle going on with Romano, Rowe, and Downing, as they've just gone over the start-finish line 3 wide. And now Romano has made it through, but Downing is now still mixing it out with Chris Rowe. I hope everybody at home is keeping up with the action here. Because it's getting quite manic again.
Yeah, quite tense as well, with only 20 minutes left in this race. Romano, he's pulled out that 7.6 second gap to Neil Rocks. Romano and Emil really strike me as really good at lapping all this traffic. They maybe both really experienced drivers, know their cars inside out, know their strengths, knows their weaknesses, been practicing. There's Demel pulling out right to the inside there. Just behind one of the that must have been Downing. I think he was just getting by.
Yeah.
No, 55. That's was it Downing? It was Downing. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. I was going to say
505, not 55.
Yeah, don't sweat yourself, mate. It was Downing. Demel now is got Chris Rowe and Romano. So Rowe is in the MX-5. He's sitting in 4th. He lets him go. Romano is leading the Clios. Burkhart's now back leading the Jettas, which made the jump after the first pit stop. So at the moment, Romano's got Burns in front of him, and Damel's got both of them. And I'm hoping that power of that Mustang is, oh my dearie me, he's just going to go straight through the middle. 3 wide going down the start-finish straight. And it is Romano, it is Demel. Burns moves out the way. He allows Romano to go as well. So a great job from him.
Have you noticed, by the way, Stephen Burns' car doesn't have the damage on the front of it anymore. It must have been repaired at the pit stop.
Yeah, it must have been. He might have used his fast repair here. So
yeah, you do get that one joker, don't you?
Yeah, with the one fast repair that gives you 3 repairs. So we're going to have a look back, I think. I've just heard it in my ear. We're going to have a look back at the start of the race, are we? Was that what was mentioned?
The start crash, I think. Here we go.
Okay. So that's Akram Zamoni on the inside in the Clios.
Goes at the inside of Burns. That's Delano being spinned around. There we go. There's the contact with Burns.
Yeah.
Burns goes into the wall.
Look at that.
Oh.
Crash bang.
506 nearly goes over there. That's Andy Fawkes, of course. Didn't Andy Fawkes go over in VIR as well?
If I remember correctly, he did, didn't he? He sat on. He was on the side of his car looking out the window.
Yeah, and I made that Robot Wars comment about how, because it was driver's side, as Zinone just loses it on his own.
Zanoni had flat damage after that. He's already come out and said, I just had damage galore after that one. So there was nothing that Zanoni could do. Ridley, Agard, and a Mustang That is Chase Brown. He's cleared the gap to Torres. See Torres in the background. Obviously, clearly hasn't made it through traffic as well as Brown has. Blimey. We'll have a look now as we start off at the front. We'll give you, before we go into the last 17 minutes, it has been Sven Demmel out in front. He has been dominant in that Mustang and has absolutely done a stellar job. He's got almost a minute over your second place man, which is George Gruber. Gruber's a long way back there for George. So George is in that second place as well. He started third in class, gained 1 place. We then move into third. That was Kevin Parrish. Parrish in that Aero Kinetics car has had a very eventful race. Spun round a couple of times. I think it was only once I've seen him spin.
Yeah, just the once, but it lost him a load of positions.
Yeah, it lost him a chunk of time and positions and is now sitting in third. In the MX-5, is this getting a little bit more interesting? Nick Shepherd is leading the way, but he's only got 1.6 to Tiemen Bramley. Bramley, who has had his own little moments with Jack John, here behind him. So Bramley in second place, 1.4 back now. So that's a battle we can keep an eye on. And then in third is the steady but ever Sapphire Simsport Alpha of Martin Pearson, who's also managed to avoid the collision right at the beginning, but unfortunately he's also been involved in his own little spins. So, you know, it's a hit and miss for Martin Pearson here. In the GR86s is Andrew Sharp. Now that gap had come down at one point, but is now back up to 4.0 seconds with Ryan Chevalier in second. So Ryan Chevalier there was close at one point to Andrew Sharp, and now unfortunately he is not. But that's put Ryan Chevalier in second place, trying to close down the 4.05 second gap he has got. In third for the GR86s at the moment is Brooks Clayton. Now we haven't really seen much of Brooks. He's gone around doing his business here and has just plodded around and done an absolutely incredible job. So if we haven't seen him, that means he hasn't been involved in a lot of action, which is good for him. In the Clio,
squeaky clean.
Squeaky clean. Yeah.
Well, up until that moment.
Well, yeah, but apart from that, Brooks Clayton will be fine, I'm sure. Down into the Clios, we've got Giovanni Romano. Now, Romano had a drive-through penalty. So he's gone through the pits, he's made his pit stops, gone through the pits, lost places to Verstappen, lost places to Rocks, and then has come through and overtaken them all, basically. And has overtaken them all and moved back to the front again. Unfortunately, Neil Rocks and Verstappen just have not got an answer. Rocks in second place there, was battling away with Romano. Pit stops didn't quite go his way. Romano got out front, jumped him in the pits, and jobs are good, and he's on his bike. Verstappen, however, has dropped away from these guys. They were close, but then it's kind of been, the pace has just been the difference. And Jelly Verstappen is in third, mind you, which is a great job, but he'll probably rue the day that he maybe might look back at himself and say, you know, I should have been closer. Now, we go into the class and a half of the VW Jettas with Morgan Berghardt, who is leading here. He wasn't leading, he was fighting out with Jack Johns. There was contact in there was battling going in, and at one point he wasn't leading up to the first pit stops, made his first pit stops, got the jump, got out in front of everybody, says, thank you very much, I'm now on my bike. Patrick Dopart is down here as well. He's sitting second in class at the moment. He's another one that's been involved in a battle that had basically Burkhardt, Dopart, Ridley, Agard, Downing, Burns, Manenfeld and Jack Johns. So they were all scrapping it out, and now it's starting to settle down after the second round of pit stops. Carl Ridley, the Australian, is currently in third place. He is been involved again in the main mix of all the action. He's got Jeremy Agard 0.3 behind him. But again, I would say a comfortable drive from him, but I would also say not so much, because they've been fighting as close as anything, Agard and Ridley. Romano's trying to go through once more. That is the leader of the Clios. He's going to go for a 2-for-1, is he? I wouldn't like to try and chance getting the Australian down into turn one, but he's going to have a good old go as Romano in that huge ass liveried machine, and he does make it through there. So that leaves Ridley and Agard to continue fighting. Shepherd, Nicholas, really running away with this race. Well, let's put it this way. He isn't running away because Tiemen Brownlee is now 0.6 seconds back from him.
I was just about to say, yeah.
Yeah, so the lead of the MX-5s is now back together. So I'm not quite sure what you've seen, Nicholas, but it's not what we're looking at. So we'll jump to the
half
MX-5.
a second quicker last lap was Tiemen J. Bramley than Nicholas Shepherd, and he's right behind him on the road, as you can see now.
Yeah, so there you go. So that's the battle of the MX-5. So Nicholas, unfortunately, he's not really winning over it. He's got 0.4 seconds to contend with, and he's got a GR86 of Chris Sofa, Michaela in front of him, as both of these guys have had issues getting through traffic. So that is your 15-minute to go rundown here on the JPP YouTube channel of everything that's been going on in this race.
It's more like 12 minutes now, of course, now that we got to the end of that.
But yeah,
sum it all up in 3 minutes. That's impressive. That is impressive, is what I'm trying to say.
There's a lot of classes here, you know what I mean?
It is, yeah.
Great. God.
You're pretty classy too, James.
Oh, sucking up. I don't mind a bit of that, I gotta tell you that.
I criticise you, I compliment you, either way, it's not good.
Hey, mate, if I was that worried about it, it'd be all right. But you know what I mean? I'm not. Just at the end of the day, as long as we enjoy ourselves.
Oh, Nick Shepherd being held up here by the GR86.
Yep, he's not going to be happy. Shepherd's going to be sitting in that car screaming at Sofa because he knows he's got Tiemen Bramley literally touching his bumper right about now. And Shepherd, no, you're going to leave the door open. You're going to get strung out. Oh, I thought if Bramley had got alongside there, mate, he was going to box him in all day long behind that GR86. That would have been absolutely horrendous for Shepherd that time around.
Yeah, Nick Shepherd now goes side by side. Oh, makes contact actually with Sofa through Cavalier, and this creates an opportunity for Tiemen J. Bramley. Now he has got the number 21 all to himself then as they go into Survey. So this is where he'll need to really maximize his exit. Pulls right to the outside, pulls right back onto the apex, and now he's trying to set up a move into the final corner here. So Nick Shepherd looking extremely vulnerable, and Tiemen J. Bramley, his heart racing, getting very, very excited here as he tries to take back the lead.
Steady.
Oh, there we go. He's got him here, surely.
I don't know. If I was Shepherd, I would hug that line and make sure if he's going to go, he's got to go out and then use that GR86
as well.
He's got to cover off that GR86. That, my Jesus, where's me, Batman? Why Sofa's just like, nope. And poor old Bramley's in there going, I need a new nose now. Dude, have you got a number of a nose operation? Because literally you just keep cutting it off and cutting it off. It's going to try Sofa.
Oh, here we go. Bramley to the outside then.
Oh. It's not shot. Oh, no. Sofa does let these guys go. But that was literally very hairy-mary at one point.
It was a mistake by Sofa into Pont, wasn't it?
Well, I think these guys will probably sit back and say thank you very much because...
Finally, yeah.
Finally, finally, we have cleared Chris Sofa. So
they've seen the light. That's what Tiemen J. Bramley will think. After all this time destroying my race, these cars that keep getting in my way in other classes have seen the light. And up the inside he goes into Survey. And he just had the line and the exit there. Nothing Nick Shepherd could have done.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think that's it. I think that's it. I think Bramley's shown pace all day. And I think he is going to get him again. I don't think it's... I don't know if Shepherd's got the pace to come back at him. Prove me wrong all day, and I will sit here and apologise.
He held on for a lot longer than I was expecting him to, given Tiemen's pace early in the race, as we look at Sven Demel coming through to lap them all once more. But yeah, Nick Shepherd really was just hoping to just hold on for as long as possible and hope that more misfortune and more lapped cars would hold up Bramley, and it didn't quite go his way, as now he sees Sven Demel well on his way, only about 8.5 minutes away from what would be his second win in the second race of the season.
Yeah, Demel's done a barnstorming job here. You've got to admit, this race has just been, well, unbelievable. Unbelievable. We will get some short clips out of this race a little bit later on, so you'll be able to have a look at some of the shorts and sit back and think, wow. Because let's face it, it has been quite well. And now
Gruber's lost a lot of time here.
Yeah,
134.4 this lap compared to 131.9 for Parrish.
Yeah, he has lost a lot of time. Just trying to see if he's made any mistakes anywhere. I don't think so. Andy Fox has had his mistake. Matty Cridland, they've had a mistake. Chris Sell has had a mistake as well. So there's a couple of people there with a little bit of errors on their part, but we won't worry about that one for a minute. We'll worry about this Parrish and Gruber, the aerokinetics of Parrish. Is he going to be able to make it through on George Gruber for second place? It really, to be honest, unless Demel makes a drastic mistake, which I can't see it happening, these guys are really battling it out for the final podium places.
Yeah, that's very much the case then, James. So Kevin Parrish has got to keep that pressure on Gruber, hope for another mistake, or just to get a better run here as he tries to look up the inside. Then surely he's got the line here into Carriorase. And there we go, plenty of space left by Gruber, who's all just struggling to keep traction on the outside.
Yeah, Gruber made that mistake, didn't he? And that just allowed Parrish to go through. He went too deep, and that's just allowed Kevin Parrish to go on his way in that Mustang. Ooh. Oh, I've seen, the thing is, these guys drive this Mustang really well, and I've seen this car get driven really badly from multiple people within the official series, and they just can't drive this Mustang. Yeah, so Nicholas Shepard.
Look, he gets hit by both of them, does he? Oh no, it was that must have been Justin Michaela that hit him there.
Yeah, Michaela. And unfortunately,
that puts Chris Sofa back into 5th as well in the GR86 class.
Oh, well, there's a silver lining of taking out Nick Shepard.
Well, yeah, of course. But
well done,
poor Nick Shepard. He was only about 7/10 behind, so Bramley, I think, was being held up by them again as well. So there was a little opportunity for Shepard, and that's why he really didn't want that to happen to him. So that has really decided it for him and Jay Bramley, surely, with only 5 minutes left. As look at this, Mantinveld fancies a go at Stephen Burns for 7th then, with time starting to run out in this race then. So Mantinveld desperate to get into the top 7. Agard still 6/10 behind Ridley in the bike fight for the podium with the Jettas then. So it's still all to play for with these Jettas. And I'd say Donny Alpha Henriksen with his different strategy doing incredibly well in the top 5. Only about 5.6 seconds behind Agard then.
Yeah. I think
and he's been lapping a little bit quicker as well.
Yeah, Henriksen he's another one that's just been quietly going around about his business, isn't he? And that's the thing. Manitveld here and Burns, however, they've been involved in so much. It's just been absolutely crazy. Jack Johns is still running. Fair play to him. I'll have to try and find out what happened to Jack, because he just lost so much time all of a sudden. So I'm not entirely sure there, as these Jettas have got, Rox has just cleared these two. This is Jeremy Agard and Kyle Ridley, the Australian, still holding on there. The Australian, mind you, it's now about 9 o'clock in the morning for him. So he's been up.
I have to go to work soon.
About 5, yeah. So for Ridley, he's up and committed, should we say?
You kind of have to be when you're in a race full of Americans and Europeans.
And you're the only representative, I think, isn't he?
Well, I think there's Pearson's from New Zealand, and we got Bramley as well in the MX-5s. He's also from Australia.
Ah, well, there you go. Both of these guys. Yeah, we think maybe Johns has had a drive-through, and that could be why he's down.
Similar to Romano then.
Yeah, so maybe Johns did get a drive-through, and that's why he's gone down so far. That wouldn't surprise me in the battle with Burkhardt that he's managed to clock some off tracks.
Oh, and look at the front. It's quite badly damaged on John's car as well. Look at the front right.
Yeah, maybe he's had contact.
Yeah. He was hitting the rear at the start of the race, and now he's hit someone else from the rear. So there's a nice little symmetry there.
Yeah, it's either that or is it something? So we'll try and find.
Agard very close to Ridley, by the way. 3/10 between them.
Yeah, we are coming around in the final 3 minutes and trying to keep an eye on the leader of the Mustang. He's on his way round the penultimate corner here at his Ledenon circuit with his survey. So there's going to be at least one and one more, I think, that he's going to get on the board, because he's doing lap times of 1:31s, and we've got 2.5 minutes. So yeah, they're going to be one and one more. And at the moment, Carl Ridley is, well, holding on for dear life, should we say, from Jeremy Agard. And unfortunately for Gruber, he's just had to go into the pits, and he's out again. So Gruber's in and out. Chase Brown, no, maybe, actually, as Brown is, oh my dearie me, they are literally going to be coming out neck and neck, I think.
Yep,
Gruber
he's
has
ahead
been
though.
jumped. Yep, he has been jumped. Brown is made the position. He's made his way through and is now sitting on the podium. So Chase Brown holding the podium in the final Mustang slot here. So a great job from Chase, and yeah, very great running from Chase Brown. But he has got 2.5 seconds to hold on to. Sven Demmel is going to be coming around, starting the final lap of the race this time around, I believe, as he's on that penultimate lap. He's on his way through into the top part of the circuit, which is Cavalier, and then down into Survey, then in through Curvette, and then the final lap. The man with the strongest right arm in iRacing, I don't care who you are, Barney will be waving frantically. Do you know the worst thing about Barney? There is a thing. No, not his name. I don't even know where his name come from. Right? All I've known is forever in my iRacing life of career here, he's always been called Barney. The worst thing is they brought in rain and they ain't even given Barney an umbrella. Got to stand there and get wet.
Oh, reminds me of doing a real-life go-karting commentary. It's a similar situation where they give you a little perch, but it's got no cover then. As we 1 minute to go, Sven Demmel crosses the line for what could be the penultimate time.
Why isn't he waving? That's right. Yeah, Barney weren't even waving. Barney was like, oh, that's the leader. Oh, a bit late now.
Tiemen said that Sven was too quick there. So yeah, Barney missed it, just like all good flag-waving celebrities.
Yeah, he just completely got it completely wrong there, the poor old Barney. Didn't even pick up what was going on. So there we go. Jeremy
well, this Torres breaking up the Agard Ridley battle.
Yeah, Agard Ridley battle there. Maniveld is not too far off Steve Burns. In fact, they're nose to tail, Maniveld and Burns, but they are part of the same consortium.
Oh, look at this. Agard could get a good run here. 21 seconds left in the race. So this could be the last jump.
It's a bit of their final lap as well. The leader's on his way around Cavalier. Can we keep an eye on that one, as I believe Sven Demmel is going to take the victory there. You keep having a look where we were. The leader is around Survey now. He's got a few corners remaining. I'll keep an eye on Sven Demmel while we look at Jeremy Agard and also Carl Ridley. They've got a bit of time to hold on, but not much, mind you, as the leader is now coming round the final corner here. So Sven Demmel is going to come over the line. Is Barney going to wave him this time, or is he going to let him just go through completely on his own? Barney's taking the night off. Nickers to you, he says, as Sven Demmel comes over the line,
there he is,
taking the victory there. Sven Demmel takes the victory. Great job from him. Barney just was meh, I don't care. I'm going home.
I've seen this before, he says.
Yeah, I've been here before. So Bramley comes over. Shepard's in the pit lane right at the end, but I'm wondering if he did cross the line first. And he has. It looks like he's managed to hold on in front of Pearson. Sharp has not quite finished in the GR86s. He's got, well, about half a lap.
Chevalier has done so well to keep him so honest throughout this, because he's been throwing absolutely everything at Andrew J. Sharp, but Andrew has not really put a foot wrong all day, and Chevalier has really put on a great race for us in the 86 class.
Romano has won the Clios, but we'll keep an eye on this GR86 battle right the way through to the end, so we know what's going to be going on here. It's only going to take one mistake from Sharp, and he could be in trouble. Ridley did manage to hang on from Jeremy Agard in the... let's see what goes on. Clayton's taken third in the GR86s, so he's already finished. And I've got a funny feeling it is going to be Sharp who's going to come over the line. And Sharp does take the victory in the GR86s with Chevalier in second place. And in the Mazda, it was Bramley. We did kind of think it was going to be, with Shepherd 13 seconds back. That doesn't really do Shepherd justification, considering how well he had done here, Ed, to manage to hold on to that place.
Yes, well, it was only with 8 minutes to go that he caught him there, but Nick Shepherd was there to take advantage, gave Tiemen J. Bramley a bit of a scare, but Tiemen J. Bramley, this time the connection held, and the Australian takes victory in MX-5s.
Yeah, he does. So a great job there from all of these guys. Whew. Well, I think I need to go and have a lay down after that. So there we go. Interesting one. Right, results are on your screen. Sven Demmel is the winner of the Mustangs, with Kevin Parrish in second and Chase Brown in third. Chase doing an absolute stellar job. Then Gruber, Mikey Frinson, Miguel Torres, Ron Wolf and Emerson Gowdin, who didn't complete the race. It was a long way back there. Moving on now into the Clios. Giovanni Romano has finished the line, took the win by 30 seconds in the end over Neil Rocks. Jellifer Stratton and Neil Rocks just did not have an answer for Romano. Matty Cridlin, they are 9 laps down. Down White, Akram Zanoni and Marcus Law. Neither of them 3 finished this evening's race. So there we go. Then we're going into the Toyota GR86s. It was Sharp over the line, took the win by 0.8 over Ryan Chevalier. Brooks Clayton managed a great third place there with Justin Delano, who has had a very interesting battles with everyone. So has Chris Sofa and Justin Michaela for that matter. Patrick Reed in 7th from Richard Rosado did not complete this evening's race. On from that one, Tiemen Bramley is in first with Nick Shepherd. Well, to be fair, that does not do Shepherd justification, that gap. He had a little bit of a moment, didn't he, right in the end. Martin Pearson finishes in third. Christopher Rowe in fourth. Chris Sewell 4 laps down, and Corford did not finish this evening's race again. Moving on into the Jettas. This was the one that was just complete and utter chaos. Morgan Burghardt finishes in first. Patrick Depart in second. And Carl Ridley did manage to hang on to third. Jeremy Haggard in fourth. Then Don Alpha Henriksen in fifth. Dan Down in sixth. Steve Burns in seventh, with Maniveld and Jack Johns, who's probably going to be a little bit kicking himself, down in ninth. And Andy Fox in 10th. And then on from that is Jesus Amandari, Sam Van Oost and Duncan Murray. I don't think Duncan Murray actually took to the start there. We can have a chat with your GR86 winner, one Mr. Andrew Sharp, who has come and joined us into the booth. Andrew, how are you, dear sir?
I'm good. How are you all doing? A little more action on the track this time around, I imagine.
You can say that again.
Yeah, there was a lot more, considerably a lot more over the first half of the race. It settled down after the second half. How was it out there for you in the GR86s? You know, you had a good pace. It was a little bit chaotic. How was it for you?
I mean, I feel like actually navigating through the Jettas made this race pretty interesting. I think I had at one point like 6 seconds to Ryan, and then after getting through all the Jettas, it was a much closer race for that final stint. So really, really interesting race towards the end there. He put a lot of pressure on me towards the end.
Did you think you were going to take him though? Did you secretly think you were going to get it?
It was feeling pretty good, but my tires were going, so I was a little nervous, but I had good pace. This is the first weekend that I've actually driven at this track, so it's a lot of fun learning it and able to find some good pace.
Yeah, I think you did rather well, dear sir. I've got to be honest. Double win for you in race 1 and obviously in race 2. That's going to give you a nice little bump up in the standings. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how you guys get on going forward into 2 races to go. And one of them's at Alton Park. Are you looking forward to that one? I'm saying this very apprehensively here, Andrew. You're going to have to give me credit.
Yeah, Alton will just be a survival, I imagine, more so than these first 2. So it'll be great to watch on your end.
Will it? No, that's
Depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to see more spins than Swan Lake, to be honest. So there we go. Andrew, thank you so much for joining. Well, yeah, we've had quite a lot tonight as well, to be fair. Is there anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
To the guys at Vermilion Motorsports, had a great weekend at Sebring, and this is kind of a good way to cap off the weekend. So thanks to them, and thanks to you all for the broadcast.
Awesome stuff. Well, Andrew, thanks so much for joining us, everybody, and we look forward to seeing if you survive Alton Park.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Right, next up in the booth is my good Australian buddy here as well, Mr. Kyle Ridley. Kyle, third in the Jettas in the end. How you feeling after that one, mate?
Quite tired, to be honest. It was a very long race. A lot of mind games and a lot of just full speed driving to keep up.
Yeah, and then obviously you've got Mustangs, you've got Clios, you've got GR86s, and then you've got poor old you at the bottom of the powertrain in the VW Jettas.
Yeah, that definitely makes it interesting because down the straights, we're not the slowest. Like, we can keep up with the MX-5 and the Toyotas, but they get the better traction thanks to the rear-wheel drive. So it certainly makes it frustrating when they send it on us in many ways. Like, just wait, but they can't wait till the straight because of our speed. So sometimes you got to pick your battles, and with the train today, a few guys picked different battles, and I just kept being chill and waited for the end, kept sipping on my fuel, and sure enough, got a good stop at the end and was able to hold on to third.
Yeah, Jeremy Agard pushed you a little bit towards the end, though.
Oh, we were in Discord together, and we were like, are we going to make this? He had a little less fuel than me, and I think he coughed going up the hill, and I coughed on the cool-down lap, so we were on the smell of an oily rag towards the end there.
Well, yeah, but you did do a great job, though, buddy. So fair play to you. Anyone you want to shout out this morning before we let go? And I say this morning because it is this morning for you.
Oh, yeah, that's all right. I just want to thank FTR for putting it all together. Again, just kind of putting all these 5 classes together and having it work is not easy, and I'm enjoying myself here. I want to thank yourself, James, and Edward for the commentary. I'm sure it's a good job. I'll watch it later after work. And I just want to thank all the guys in the Jetta today. It was borderline nostalgic having a good old Jetta train going once again.
Well, it was the Jetta show on the broadcast, to be honest with you, mate, as well. You kind of stole it away from everybody else because there was just so much going on. But Carl, thanks so much for joining us there, buddy. And look forward to seeing whether or not you survive Alton Park.
Thanks, James.
Take care, mate. Right, so there you go. That was Carl Ridley in with us here. Another interesting race.
It's interesting you say it was the Jetta train because I think I felt a little bit sorry for especially the Mustangs. We saw so little of them other than Sven Demmel coming through to lap people expertly. There was a little battle for second briefly when Parrish spun and had to fight back to get up there. So I think good recovery from Kevin Parrish, but he could not hold a candle to Sven Demmel today. And then that great battle between Sharp and Chevalier, Romano having to fight his way through from the penalty past Rox and Verstraeten. MX-5s with Bramley hitting poor Jack Johns and then having to fight his way back past Nick Shepherd. And then, of course, the Jettas being just absolute chaos and mayhem with Ridley doing very, very well on his strategy to hold on to third, while Dopart and Burkhardt making those early pit stops to break clear of the pack, essentially. Well, all behind them, it was just absolute chaos. And Burkhardt put on some excellent moves, not just on Johns, but I think the one on Dopart was very good as well. So yeah, it's hard to know where to look when it comes to the Jettas, but everywhere else there was a very, very clear narrative in each race. Not least the Mustangs are the most simple.
Much for joining us. We're going to head to Alton Park in 2 weeks' time with no chicanes.
Who needs chicane?
I don't know. I probably best they took them out at Alton Park with this amount of cars.
It's not a place to flip the car, right? Sure, Andy Fox will be breathing a sigh of relief.
You go down Hislops. Yeah, you go down Hislops, you're going to flip the car anyway. But that's going to wrap it up here, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, if you are here for the first time, like, subscribe, and turn on the bells. And thank you again for joining us. What has been a very interesting evening of racing. Jetta power, says Slenderman. Yeah, absolutely. It's been like that all the way through. But thank you so much. And I've been James Parfitt. I've been alongside Edward Hunter, and I've had Tiemen Claus on production, bringing us all these epic shots here as well. But for now, guys, as it always is here up in the JPB booth, take care, have a great week, and you never know, we might see you on the track sometime. Good night. Does he have it?
Medeiros is going to get it.
Oh, they're going to toss it. They haven't got it.
He's on the outside line though, going into the fastest corner on the circuit. Surely this can't work.
Dominic Ligner has got a sensational run outside line now though for the heavy braking zone. Around the outside goes the Audi R8.
Look how much Miller's caught back into play. Exactly. Miller's still such trouble. He's not on second and change. All of a sudden, Miller's back in play.
Can Barry do it? Big Barry's going to do it. Big Barry!